My child, stop scrolling. This message is not finding you by accident. You have been through too much, carried too much, and survived too many silent battles for this moment to be ordinary. What you thought would break you has become the very place where I am about to show you that you pulled it off at last. So stay with me. Do not skip ahead. Do not treat these words lightly. Listen all the way through, because what I am about to uncover will put language to the pain you carried, the strength you did not know you had, and the shift already happening in your life. If your heart hath been waiting for confirmation, this is where it begins. If you have been praying for a sign, do not look away now. What comes next will either awaken something in you, or reveal what you can no longer ignore. My child, what has happened in your life is not small, and I do not want you to brush past it as if it is ordinary. You have been through too much for this moment to be treated casually. You know exactly what I am talking about. You know the thing that sat on your chest for so long that even when you smiled, there was still that hidden weight underneath. You know the battle that kept replaying in your mind when the room got quiet. You know the goal, the prayer, the burden, the mountain, the promise, the thing you almost stopped believing would ever move. And now here you are, standing on the other side of something you once thought might never change. You pulled it off at last. You made it through. You reached the place that once lived only in your imagination, in your desperate prayers, in those late-night moments when you looked up and asked me if I was still listening. I was listening. I heard every trembling word. I heard the prayers you spoke clearly, and I also heard the ones that never became words because you were too tired to form them. I know how many times you doubted whether you had enough left in you. I know how many times you questioned whether your effort was wasted, whether your faith had stretched too thin, whether your heart had taken too many hits to keep hoping. I watched you in the hidden places where no one else could see what this cost you. I saw the moments when you kept showing up while feeling emotionally exhausted. I saw the private disappointment you carried after things almost worked, then fell apart again. I saw how you tried to stay steady when inside you felt like you were unraveling. And still, somehow, you kept going. That matters more than you know. I want you to understand that what you call survival, I call courage. What you thought was barely holding on was actually you refusing to surrender the future I planted inside you. There were days when you believed you were doing badly simply because you were struggling, but I never judged you for the struggle. I saw your honesty. I saw your sincerity. I saw the way you kept moving even when your feelings were not cooperating. You did not always feel strong, and yet you kept taking the next step. You did not always feel hopeful, and yet something in you would not fully let go. That was not an accident. That was me sustaining you from deeper than your emotions. You thought you were running on fumes, but I was keeping a flame alive in you that even your hardest season could not put out. And now you are here, almost looking at this moment with disbelief, almost afraid to fully celebrate because part of you is still learning how to trust that it is real. But I need you to hear me clearly. This is real. This is not your imagination. This is not a false start. This is not another almost. You really made it into a moment you once thought belonged to other people. You really crossed through something that used to intimidate you, exhaust you, and quietly break your confidence. You really stayed with it long enough to see change arrive. I want you to let that truth land in your spirit. I do not want you to rush past it. I do not want you to reduce it. I do not want you to say, well, maybe it was nothing, when deep down you know what it took for you to get here. You know how many times you had to rebuild yourself in silence. You know how many mornings you had to get up and act normal while carrying uncertainty like a stone in your chest. You know how many times you wanted one clear sign from me, one unmistakable shift, one moment that told you all of this was not pointless, This is one of those moments, my child. This is me answering in a way your soul can finally recognize. This is me showing you that I was not absent in the delay, and I was not careless with your pain. I was shaping, guarding, aligning, and strengthening things in you that had to be formed before this victory could be trusted in your hands. And because I love you, I need to say something else that your heart may not have fully accepted yet. The miracle here is not only that the outcome changed. The miracle is that you are not who you were when this began. You have grown in ways you have not even fully noticed because growth often happens while you are busy surviving. You have more depth now. You have more discernment now. You can feel the difference if you are honest with yourself. The version of you that first stood in front of this challenge carried hope, yes, but also fear, naivety, and a need for quick reassurance. The version of you standing here now has been through the fire. You understand what it means to keep going when there is no applause. You understand what it means to wait without having control. You understand what it means to keep your heart from becoming bitter when things do not happen when you want them to. You learned how to carry uncertainty and still function. You learned how to keep breathing when your mind wanted to spiral. You learned how to live with unanswered questions without letting them completely harden you. That did not happen overnight, and it did not happen because life was easy on you. It happened because I was doing deeper work than the thing you were asking me for. You were asking for an answer, but I was also building a person. You were asking for a breakthrough, but I was also forming someone who could walk in it without being destroyed by pressure, pride, fear, or desperation. And I know there were moments when you misread the process. I know you thought the delay meant denial. I know you thought the silence meant distance. I know you wondered if I had forgotten what you asked for. I had not forgotten. I simply refused to rush what needed to mature. I refused to let you enter certain doors before your heart was strong enough to stay whole on the other side of them. Some things had to fall away first. Some expectations had to be corrected. Some dependencies had to be exposed. Some people had to leave your orbit. Some habits had to lose their hold. Some false versions of success had to die so that the real one could finally fit into your life without poisoning your peace. That is why I need you to stop looking at this moment as if it is only about finally getting what you wanted. It is more sacred than that. This moment carries the evidence that you did not quit when it would have been understandable to quit. It carries the proof that what was planted in you was stronger than what came against you. It carries the fingerprint of my timing, my protection, and my refusal to let your story end in the place where you almost gave up. I want you to feel proud, but not in the shallow way the world teaches pride. I want you to feel the kind of holy recognition that says, yes, this cost something. Yes, this mattered. Yes, I was carried. Yes, I stayed. Yes, God was with me. That kind of recognition is healthy. That kind of gratitude heals places in you that constant striving has worn thin. And I need you to begin receiving this moment with open hands instead of suspicious ones. You do not need to brace yourself right now as if joy is dangerous. You do not need to shrink the victory because you are still learning how to trust good things. You do not need to act numb to protect yourself from disappointment. Let yourself feel this. Let yourself admit that this is the thing you cried over. Let yourself acknowledge that this is the place you once thought you would never reach. Let yourself see that I did not bring you this far just to tease your heart with an almost. I brought you here because it was time. It was time for the thing that chased you with fear to lose its grip. It was time for the place that made you feel small to become part of your testimony. It was time for you to look back and realize that the same situation that once made you question everything has now become the place where you can finally say, with tears in your eyes if necessary, I really did make it through. And yes, my child, You did. You really did. If you'd like, I can now continue with message point 2 in the exact same format. My child, I want you to look with me at something even deeper, because I do not want you to merely remember the pain. I want you to understand what the pain was doing while it was pressing on you. There is a reason this next truth matters so much. The thing that almost broke you did not come into your life only to wound you. It came with pressure, yes. It came with confusion, yes. It came with tears, setbacks, delays, emotional fatigue, and moments that felt so heavy you wondered whether something inside you would crack under the weight of it. But what you could not see while you were inside that process was that the very thing that looked like destruction was also becoming construction. It was not just pushing against you. It was shaping you. I know that sentence would have irritated you in the middle of the battle. I know that if someone had casually told you, "This is building you," while you were carrying all that strain, part of you would have wanted to turn away because when pain is fresh, explanations can feel cold. I understand that. I am not asking you to romanticize what hurt. I am not asking you to pretend the process was beautiful every day. Some of it felt ugly. Some of it felt unfair. Some of it felt like too much for too long. Some of it exposed fears you did not know were still alive in you. Some of it brought you face to face with places in your heart that had not been fully healed. Some of it revealed how quickly pressure can distort perspective if you do not stay close to me. That is real. But now that you are standing where you can breathe a little more clearly, I need you to see what was happening beneath the surface. The pressure was not only testing your limits, it was teaching you your actual capacity. The delay was not only frustrating you, it was strengthening your endurance. The disappointment was not only hurting you, it was refining your discernment. The silence was not only making you uncomfortable, it was forcing you to develop a deeper kind of listening. The closed doors were not only painful, they were clearing your path. The betrayal was not only wounding, it was teaching you where to stop overextending your trust. The exhaustion was not only draining you, it was exposing what you had been carrying that was never meant to be yours. That is why I need you to stop calling that entire chapter wasted. It was costly, yes. It was intense, yes. It was emotionally demanding in ways you never asked for. But it was not empty. It was not random. It was not meaningless. The very thing that almost crushed your confidence is now part of the reason you can see more clearly. The very thing that made you feel small is now part of the reason you carry more depth. The very thing that stripped away your illusions is the same thing that made you more honest, more grounded, more aware of what truly matters. Look at yourself now. You notice things sooner. You hear tones beneath words. You recognize patterns faster. You do not hand your peace away as easily. You are slower to chase what glitters and quicker to ask what is real. You are learning to value alignment over appearance, truth over timing, peace over pressure, and obedience over panic. That did not happen because life was gentle with you. It happened because the hard places train your spirit. They forced growth where comfort would have kept you soft. They demanded maturity where ease would have let you stay untested. So do not rush to throw that chapter away in your memory as if it was only suffering. Sit with it. Ask me to show you what it built. Ask me to reveal what changed in you. Ask me to help you see the hidden harvest inside the hard season. Because when you can see what it built, you stop relating to the pain only as loss. You begin to understand it as transformation. That changes how you carry your story. That changes how you speak about yourself. That changes how you walk into the future. And now, my child, let me speak to the part of you that is still tempted to resent the process so deeply that you cannot receive what it produced. This matters more than you think. because many people come through a refining season with treasure in their hands and never use it, simply because they are still emotionally fighting the way it arrived. They stay angry at the process and miss the person they became. They keep replaying the hurt and never stop long enough to recognize the wisdom that was forged there. I do not want that for you. I want you to gather what was built. I want you to pick up the strength that formed there. I want you to claim the maturity, the clarity, the boundaries, the spiritual sensitivity, the emotional honesty, and the steadiness that were shaped in the very place you thought only damage was happening. So come with me into this next step. Look back, not to relive the wound, but to reclaim the growth. Notice how you no longer chase validation the same way. Notice how you no longer panic as quickly when a door closes. Notice how you have become more careful with your energy. Notice how you have become more aware of what drains you and what actually feeds your spirit. Notice how you have become more willing to disappoint people rather than betray your own peace. Notice how you are learning to ask better questions before making major decisions. Notice how you are less impressed by noise and more drawn to what is steady, sincere, and safe. Those are not small changes. Those are structural changes. Those are foundation changes. That is why I am telling you with love and firmness. Stop speaking about yourself as if you are only damaged. You are not just someone who got hurt. You are someone who was formed. Stop saying, "That season ruined me," when the truth is more complex and more beautiful than that. Yes, it marked you. Yes, it scarred in certain places. Yes, it cost you things. But it also gave you things you could not have received another way. It gave you X-ray vision in places where you once only had surface-level awareness. It gave you holy caution without forcing you into total cynicism. It gave you humility because you now know what it feels like to need grace in a real way. It gave you compassion because you can now sense hidden pain in others instead of judging them too quickly. It gave you stamina because you now know what it means to keep moving when emotion is not carrying you. It gave you a deeper dependence on me because you found out what happens when your own strength runs out. Do not despise those gifts. Receive them. Steward them. Use them. Let them become part of the way you walk into what comes next. And I want more than your understanding here. I want your participation. I want you to actively agree with what I build. I want you to stop trying to become the old version of yourself again. That version is gone. Do not chase who you were before the pressure came. Do not romanticize the untested version of you. Do not keep saying, "I just want to feel like I used to," because some of what you used to be was not actually ready for where I am taking you. Some of what you used to call innocence was really inexperience. Some of what you used to call trust was really overexposure. Some of what you used to call kindness was really poor boundaries. Some of what you used to call strength was really self-reliance. I am not taking you backward. I am not trying to restore you into the exact shape you had before the breaking pressure came. I am building something better than that. I am making you wiser without making you cold. I am making you stronger without making you hard. I am making you softer toward me and sharper toward deception. That is why I need you to say yes to this next version of yourself. Invite me into it. Tell me, show me what you built. Tell me, teach me how to use what this season formed. Tell me, help me stop grieving the old me when you are revealing the stronger me. Those invitations matter. And as you move forward, remember this contrast, because contrast makes truth clearer. What once felt like a crushing weight is now part of your carrying capacity. What once made you feel fragile is now part of your resilience. What once threatened your future is now part of the foundation under it. That is not an accident. That is redemption. That is my hand doing what only I can do. I take what nearly shattered you and I build from it. I take what tried to silence you and I deepen your voice through it. I take what came to reduce you and I use it to reveal you. So stand up in that truth, my child. Do not flinch from it. Do not shrink from it. Do not talk yourself back into weakness when I have already built new strength in you. The thing that almost broke you became the thing that built you. Not because pain is good, but because I am God. Not because the process was easy, but because I stayed in it with you. Not because you understood it at the time, but because I never lost sight of what it would become. And now, with my hand still on your life, I am asking you to do something brave and simple. Receive the builder's blessing hidden inside the battle, and walk forward like someone who knows the foundation is stronger than it used to be. My child, you have just seen how the thing that almost broke you became the very thing that built you, and now I am calling you to help me build others. What I have formed in you was never meant to stop with you. It is seed, and seed must be sown. When you give, you become part of a harvest far beyond what your eyes can see, like rivers flowing into dry places and oil filling empty lamps. Did I not say, give, and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over? I am speaking that over you now. If your heart hath been stirred, that stirring is not emotion. It is my invitation. This is a divine moment where your generosity becomes light for someone still walking in darkness. As you release, I will multiply, protect, and establish what concerns you. So do not hesitate. Honor what I have built in you, and act now through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description. My child, let me talk to you about something you are only now beginning to understand, because for a long time you measured strength by the wrong standard. You thought strength had to look polished. You thought it had to look confident, clean, composed, and somehow untouched by the pressure around you. You thought strong people moved through hard seasons with a steady face, a sharp answer, a clear plan, and an energy that never seemed to drop. You thought strength meant not feeling shaken. You thought it meant not needing rest, not needing reassurance, not needing to step back, not needing to admit when you were carrying more than your heart could easily hold. That is how many people define it, and if you are not careful, that lie can become a prison. It can make you feel like you are failing in the very moments when you are actually growing the most. And that is exactly what happened to you for a while. There were days when you looked at your own inner world and concluded that because you felt tired, uncertain, emotionally stretched, or mentally foggy, you must not be doing well. You assumed that because you were struggling, you must not be strong. But I need you to let me correct that deeply now. Strength does not always look impressive. Sometimes real strength looks ordinary on the outside and holy on the inside. Sometimes it looks like you getting up when your body and mind both wanted to stay down. Sometimes it looks like you answering the call, paying the bill, showing up to the responsibility, finishing the task, keeping the promise, or staying in the room while your emotions were begging for escape. Sometimes it looks like you choosing not to say the cruel thing that pain wanted to put in your mouth. Sometimes it looks like you holding your peace when you could have reacted. Sometimes it looks like you taking a walk just to calm your thoughts instead of spiraling into old habits. Sometimes it looks like you crying and still not quitting. Sometimes it looks like you needing rest and actually allowing yourself to take it instead of performing endurance for people who never carried your load. Sometimes it looks like a quiet "I'm still here." That is strength too. In fact, that is often the strongest kind. Because what the world calls impressive can sometimes be performance, but what I call strength is often rooted in truth. I saw you in those moments when you felt unimpressive. I saw you when you had no dramatic breakthrough, no visible applause, no high-energy confidence, no easy smile, and no tidy explanation. I saw you when all you had was enough grace for the next step and nothing more. And I was not disappointed in that. I honored it. I blessed it. I stayed close to it. I want you to stop comparing your quiet endurance to someone else's visible intensity. Stop assuming that because your strength looked plain, it was somehow less powerful. Stop dismissing the days when you simply kept going. Do not call that just surviving in a way that minimizes it. There are seasons where surviving with your heart still soft toward me is one of the bravest things you can do. There are moments where the strongest thing in the room is not the loudest person. It is the one who stayed honest, stayed present, stayed grounded, stayed kind, and stayed open to me while carrying weight no one else fully saw. That was you more often than you realize. And I want you to receive that truth instead of arguing with it. Let it in. Stop treating yourself like a failure because your strength did not look cinematic. Stop thinking you needed to be superhuman for me to call you faithful. I never asked for performance. I asked for presence. I never asked you to impress me. I asked you to stay near me. I never asked you to walk through the fire without feeling the heat. I asked you not to abandon your soul to the flames. That is different. That is deeper. That is the kind of strength that lasts. So pause here. Reflect honestly. Think about the moments you are tempted to dismiss. Think about the days you almost did not make it through emotionally, yet you still kept your commitments. Think about the moments you wanted to react out of pain, yet chose restraint. Think about the times you did not feel brave, yet still did the next right thing. Those were not minor moments. Those were muscle-building moments. Those were the places where quiet courage was being formed. Those were the hidden repetitions that built your internal resilience. That is why you are different now. That is why you can hold more now. That is why the old things do not shake you quite the same way anymore. It was not because you became flashy. It was because you became grounded. And now, my child, I want to go even deeper because this matters for the next season. And if you do not understand this, you may sabotage yourself by chasing a version of strength that is not even healthy. There is a subtle temptation in you sometimes to prove that you are okay. You know how to do it. You know how to put on the face. You know how to stay productive, stay useful, stay responsive, stay capable, stay together enough that no one asks too many questions. But if you are not careful, that old habit can make you perform strength instead of living from it. And performed strength is exhausting. It drains you. It disconnects you from your own needs. It makes you ignore my invitations to rest, recover, slow down, and heal. That is why I am telling you this now. Do not return to the old version of strong that required you to silence your own humanity. Do not wear yourself out trying to look unshaken. Do not act invincible just because you are afraid of feeling vulnerable. Do not call burnout faithfulness. Do not call emotional suppression maturity. Do not call constant overfunctioning responsibility if it is really just fear of slowing down. I want something better for you than that. I want rooted strength. I want honest strength. I want the kind of strength that can say, I need a moment, without feeling ashamed. I want the kind of strength that can say, I am tired, but I am still with God. I want the kind of strength that can set a boundary, ask for help, tell the truth, rest without guilt, and still move forward with peace. That kind of strength is not weak. It is wise. It is mature. It is sustainable. So listen carefully and receive this as both comfort and command. Stop trying to look impressive and start trying to stay aligned. Stop asking, how do I seem? And start asking, am I grounded? Stop building your identity around how much you can carry without complaint, and start building it around how closely you stay connected to me while carrying what is actually yours. Let me simplify this for you. If you can stay tender without becoming fragile, that is strength. If you can stay honest without collapsing into shame, that is strength. If you can feel deeply without being ruled by every emotion, that is strength. If you can slow down without thinking you are failing, that is strength. If you can say no to what drains you and yes to what heals you, that is strength. If you can keep your peace while the room gets noisy, that is strength. If you can hold hope without pretending everything is easy, that is strength. Do you see how different that is from what you were taught? The world claps for what is shiny, but I build what is solid. The world celebrates the dramatic, but I strengthen the durable. The world is impressed by appearances, but I look for anchored hearts. That is why some of the strongest moments in your life never looked impressive to anyone else. They were too hidden, too quiet, too human, too ordinary. But they were real. And because they were real, they changed you. So I want you to do something practical now. The next time you feel tempted to judge yourself because you are tired, stop. Ask me, what does real strength look like here? The next time you feel the urge to overperform just so you do not look weak, pause and ask, am I honoring truth or protecting image? The next time you feel ashamed for needing rest, tell yourself, rest is not retreat when God is leading it. The next time you feel emotional and think that means you are unstable, remind yourself, feeling is not failure. I can feel and still be faithful. These small corrections matter. They retrain the way you see yourself. They help you stop insulting the strength I have actually built in you. And my child, here is the contrast I want you to carry into the days ahead. What looks impressive can crack under pressure, but what is quietly strengthened can stand. Loud confidence can collapse when conditions change, but rooted peace can remain when the wind rises. Performance can impress a room, but honest resilience can carry a life. Let that truth settle in your bones. You learn that strength does not always look impressive. That lesson will protect you. That lesson will steady you. That lesson will keep you from chasing exhaustion just to feel worthy. And if you let it, it will also free you to become the kind of person who is deeply strong without needing to prove it every 5 minutes. So come with me into that freedom. Lay down the costume. Step out of the performance. Let me teach you how to be strong in truth, not just in appearance. Because what I am building in you now does not need to sparkle to be sacred. It only needs to be real. My child, now that you understand that strength does not always look impressive, I want you to see that even your quiet giving carries eternal weight. The world may overlook small acts, but I see the offering poured out in sincerity like oil upon an altar. When you support this work, you are strengthening voices that reach the weary, the hidden, the ones who feel unseen just like you once did. Did I not say, do not despise the day of small beginnings? What you release becomes fire in another person's night. If you feel the nudge to give, that is me inviting you into partnership, not performance. I bless your obedience with provision, your generosity with increase, and your faith with stability. Let your quiet strength become visible through your action. Step forward now, give through super thanks, join as a member, or use the PayPal link in the description. My child, there is something I need you to see now with new eyes, because if you can truly understand this, it will change how you interpret pain for the rest of your life. Some of the moments you thought were the end were not endings at all. They were turning points. I know that may sound simple when you hear it now, but it did not feel simple when you were inside those moments. When you were standing there, in the thick of it, it felt final. It felt like the last straw. It felt like the collapse. It felt like the proof that too much had gone wrong, too much had been delayed, too much had been lost, too much had been stretched, too much had been held together by faith that already fell thin. You remember those moments? I know you do. The moment that conversation went the wrong way. The moment that opportunity fell apart. The moment the door closed. The moment the person left. The moment the silence stretched longer than you thought you could bear. The moment your body felt tired in a way sleep could not fix. The moment your mind said, I cannot keep doing this. The moment your heart whispered, maybe this is where it all falls apart. Those were not casual moments. Those were the moments that rearranged you. Those were the moments where it seemed like everything was pointing toward collapse. And because it felt so intense, because it felt so decisive, because it touched your deepest fears, you interpreted it as the end. You thought, this is it. This is the moment it dies. This is where the promise fails. This is where I run out. This is where I lose too much. This is where I finally discover that I was hoping for something that was never really coming. I know how real that felt. I know how final it seemed. I know how heavy the atmosphere around those moments was. But hear me now with clarity, because I want to redeem the way you remember them. Those moments were not the end. They were the hinge. They were the breaking point that became the turning point. They were the place where old things lost power, even if it felt like you were the one losing everything. They were the place where false supports gave way, where unsustainable patterns cracked, where illusions died, where unhealthy attachments were exposed, where self-reliance was weakened, where your need for control was brought into the light, where your dependence on visible certainty began to unravel. It did not feel like progress. It felt like pain. But pain and progress are not always enemies. Sometimes they arrive wearing the same clothes. Sometimes the thing that feels like collapse is the exact pressure point where a deeper shift begins. That is what happened to you. The moment you thought with the end of the road became the place where I started redirecting the entire path. The thing that looked like total loss became the place where I started stripping away what could not come with you. The conversation that hurt you became the clarity you needed. The rejection that stunned became the mercy that saved you. The exhaustion that scared you became the revelation that you could not keep living the old way. The delay that frustrated you became the space where deeper readiness was formed. The silence that made you ache became the place where your hearing changed. That is why I need you to stop remembering those moments only as pain. They were painful, yes. I will not lie to you about that. They were hard. They were sharp. They cut through your assumptions. They touched tender places. They left you shaken. But they were not pointless. They were not merely destructive. They were pivotal. They were catalytic. They were the moment the old version of a story lost its hold. And I want you to go back and look again. Look at the moment you thought would ruin you. What happened after it? What did it reveal? What did it force you to confront? What did it make impossible to ignore? What did it strip away? What did it redirect? What truth did it finally bring to the surface? Ask me those questions. Sit with them. Let the answers come. Because when you begin to see those moments as turning points instead of pure endings, your whole testimony deepens. Your whole relationship with me deepens. You stop fearing every breaking place as if it must mean destruction. You begin to understand that I can work most powerfully at the exact point where you think everything is falling apart. That does not make pain pleasant. It makes it purposeful. That changes everything. And now, my child, let me take you further, because this truth is not only meant to comfort your memory, it is meant to transform your future. If you can learn to recognize turning points inside hard moments, You will not be as easily overwhelmed the next time life shakes. You will still feel it. You will still be human. You will still need me. But you will not be as quick to declare doom over every disruption. You will not be as quick to say, "This is the end," every time something cracks. You will begin to ask wiser questions. Instead of only asking, "Why is this happening?" you will start asking, "What is this exposing? What is this ending so something truer can begin? What is this revealing that I could not see before?" Those questions do not deny the pain. They redeem the lens. And that is what I want for you. I want a redeemed lens. I want you to stop being so frightened by moments of rupture that you miss the redirection hidden inside them. Come here and listen carefully. Not every hard stop is a dead end. Not every breakdown is destruction. Not every loss is theft. Some things must end for you to finally stop carrying what was never meant to remain. Some things must crack for the truth to get in. Some things must become unbearable before you are willing to release them. Some patterns do not leave quietly. Some attachments do not loosen gently. Some false identities do not fall away until pressure makes them impossible to maintain. That is why I am telling you with love and firmness, stop calling every rupture a ruin. Stop assuming that because something hurts, it must be the enemy winning. Stop making permanent conclusions in the middle of transitional pain. Breathe. Slow down. Bring the moment to me. Ask me, "Father, is this an ending or is this a hinge?" That is a powerful question. Keep it close. Use it. Let it interrupt the panic. Let it slow the story your fear wants to write. Because sometimes what you call the worst moment becomes the most important moment. Sometimes the night you thought would swallow you becomes the night you finally stop tolerating what has been draining you. Sometimes the conversation you dreaded becomes the clarity you needed to move forward. Sometimes the failure you wanted to erase becomes the doorway into honesty. Sometimes the no you resisted becomes the freedom you thank me for later. That is why I want you to partner with me differently from now on. When something breaks, do not immediately pronounce death over it. Bring it to me. When a plan falls apart, do not immediately assume I have abandoned you. Bring it to me. When your emotions get loud and the moment feels final, stop and ask me to show you the turning point hidden inside the disruption. Invite me into your interpretation, not just your pain. Tell me, "Lord, do not let me misread this." Tell me, "Lord, if this is a hinge, help me see it." Tell me, "Lord, teach me how to recognize redirection before fear turns it into doom." Those are mature prayers. Those are steadying prayers. Those are the prayers of someone who has learned that my hand often moves most powerfully when the old structure can no longer hold. And my child, here is the contrast I want you to remember because it will save you from many unnecessary spirals. An ending leaves you stranded, but a turning point reorients you. Collapse only destroys, but a holy breaking exposes what must change. A dead end says there is nowhere to go, but a hinge says the direction is shifting. Carry that. Hold it. Write it on your spirit, because you have already lived it. The moments you thought were the end were often the very places where the next chapter quietly began. The moment you thought the story was closing was often the moment I was changing the entire trajectory. So do not fear the hinge just because it creaks. Do not fear the turn just because it disorients you at first. Stay close to me in those moments. Let me teach you how to recognize them. Let me help you stop naming every disruption as disaster. And right now, as you stand where you can finally look back with more clarity, I want you to say it with me in your heart. What I thought was the end was actually the turning point. Let that truth heal your memory. Let it steady your present. Let it shape your future. Because the next time the ground shifts, you will not be the same person. You will remember. You will breathe. You will come to me faster. And even if your voice shakes, you will know enough now to ask the right question. Father, what are you turning here? That question alone can keep hope alive long enough for your eyes to adjust to the new direction. My child, just as what you thought was the end became your turning point, I now set before you another turning point. What you do next matters. This moment is not sluchayakakui. It is a hinge, and your response can open doors for countless others who are standing where you once stood. When you give, you are planting seeds in soil that will break open in due season, bringing life where there was despair. Have I not declared, while the earth remains, seed time and harvest shall not cease? I am inviting you into the divine cycle right now. Your generosity becomes a bridge, your offering becomes a voice, your obedience becomes light. I will breathe upon what you release and return it to you in ways you cannot predict. Do not let this moment pass as just another message. Recognize it as your turning point too. Give now through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description. My child, this is one of the places where you can quietly lose momentum if you are not careful. After everything you have walked through, after all the hidden strengthening, after the doors I closed for your protection, after the doors I opened in my timing, after the clarity I have already given you, after the peace that has begun settling where chaos used to live, you are still tempted in certain moments to go back and ask for one more sign. I understand why. I do. I know your heart has been through long seasons where you were afraid to trust your own discernment. I know you have seen false starts before. I know you have felt what it is like to think something was finally moving, only to watch it stall, fade, or collapse. I know disappointment trained you to hesitate. I know delay made you second guess. I know pain taught you to keep your hand near the emergency brake even when the road ahead is open. But I am telling you now with love and with holy firmness, stop asking for signs about what I have already confirmed. There is a difference between seeking me and stalling in fear. There is a difference between discernment and delay disguised as spirituality. There is a difference between holy caution and anxious hesitation that keeps moving the finish line because your heart is scared to trust the clarity you have already been given. And my child, if you are honest, you know that sometimes what you call waiting on God is actually waiting on the complete disappearance of all discomfort before you obey. But that is not how faith works. Faith does not always arrive with total emotional ease. Faith often moves while your feelings are still catching up. Faith steps when peace has spoken, even if your nerves are still adjusting. Faith recognizes the difference between my voice and your old fear trying to demand endless confirmation. I need you to hear this clearly because it matters right now. I am not obligated to endlessly repeat myself every time fear feels nervous. When I have already made something clear, your next step is not to keep circling around the same place asking if I really meant what I said. Your next step is to move with me. Some of you keep asking, Lord, are you sure? When I already told you. Some of you keep asking, Lord, should I trust this? When I already settled your spirit. Some of you keep asking, Lord, is this really the time? When I have already shifted the season around you. And because you are waiting for some dramatic, thunderous, undeniable external sign, you are overlooking the quieter confirmations I already gave. The sustained peace, the repeated clarity, the closed wrong doors, the strengthened boundaries, the changed desires, the new steadiness in your spirit. The way your old panic is not ruling the same way it used to. Those are not accidents. Those are confirmations. Stop acting like only loud signs count. Stop assuming that if I do not make the sky split open, then nothing has really been said. I speak in ways your spirit can recognize when your heart is close enough to me. I confirm through peace. I confirm through alignment. I confirm through timing. I confirm through the loss of confusion where confusion once dominated. I confirm through the way your spirit no longer feels trapped in the old loop. I confirm through the way something settles deeply even while your mind still wants more guarantees. That matters. And I need you to stop insulting your own growth by acting like you are still the same confused person you were at the beginning of this journey. You are not. I have sharpened your discernment. I have taught you to hear differently. I have trained you to notice what is life-giving and what is draining. I have shown you what my peace feels like compared to your old panic. So honor that training. Respect that growth. Do not keep crawling back into uncertainty because certainty still feels unfamiliar. There comes a point where one more sign is not about wisdom. It is about fear asking for one more delay. And my child, I love you too much to let fear keep dressing itself in spiritual language while it quietly steals your forward movement. If I have confirmed it, move. If I have settled it, stop reopening it. If I have made it clear, stop bargaining for another sign. Trust what I have already spoken. And now, my child, let me take you deeper, because this is not just about moving forward in one decision. This is about maturing the way you walk with me. I want you to grow beyond needing constant reassurance for every step after I have already established the direction. I want you to learn how to recognize when I have truly spoken and then respond with trust, not endless relitigation. That does not mean you become reckless. It does not mean you stop praying. It does not mean you never ask questions. It means you stop reopening settled things every time fear gets loud. There are moments to seek fresh wisdom, and there are moments to honor prior clarity. You need discernment for the difference. So here is my command to you. Stop reopening what I have already closed. Stop doubting what I have already strengthened. Stop turning confirmed ground back into a question mark just because the next step feels vulnerable. Come here and ask me better questions now. Instead of, Lord, are you sure? Ask, Lord, how do you want me to walk this out well? Instead of, Lord, give me another sign. Ask, Lord, show me how to steward what you already confirmed. Instead of, Lord, if this is really you, do it again in a louder way. Ask, Lord, teach me to trust your quieter confirmations. Those are stronger questions. Those are mature questions. Those are the questions of someone who is not trying to escape faith but is learning how to live by it. And I want you to notice the ways fear tries to bait you back into endless checking. Fear will tell you, just be safe and wait a little longer. Fear will say, what if you miss something? Fear will whisper, if you were really wise, you need one more confirmation. But often, that voice is not protecting you. It is paralyzing you. It is trying to keep you circling the same mountain because forward motion feels vulnerable. That is why I want you to practice holy decisiveness. When something hath been prayed over, clarified, and confirmed, stop feeding the loop. Move in peace. Take the next step. Make the call. Send the message. Pull the boundary. Walk through the door. Stay in the room I gave you instead of running back outside because the air feels new. This matters. And let me give you a visual to carry, because I want this to stay in your spirit. Do not stand on the shoreline begging for another lighthouse flash when the harbor is already visible. At some point, the boat must move. At some point, the anchor must come up. At some point, the captain must trust the light already given. That is where you are. The harbor is not imaginary. The path is not hidden the way it once was. The fear may still tremble, but the direction is there. So act like someone who has been led. And I need to say this plainly too. You are not earning safety by delaying obedience. Sometimes delay creates its own turbulence. Sometimes what feels like extra caution is actually unnecessary resistance to the grace I have already supplied. So receive my instruction now. Breathe. Stop chasing louder signs. Stop demanding dramatic proof. Stop acting like I have said nothing when I have been guiding you steadily. Open your hand. Release the need to control the uncertainty. Let trust become movement. Let peace become action. Let clarity become stewardship. And my child, here is the contrast I want you to remember because it will rescue you the next time you are tempted to circle again. Confirmation invites movement, but fear demands endless review. Faith honors what was spoken, while anxiety keeps reopening the file. Wisdom listens deeply, but insecurity keeps replaying the same question, hoping for a different feeling. Hold that close. Use it. Let it interrupt the loop. Because I am not trying to make you dependent on constant signs. I am raising you into steady relationship. I am teaching you how to walk with me, not how to panic politely in spiritual language. So stop asking for signs about what I have already confirmed. Trust the peace. Trust the pruning. Trust the alignment. Trust the clarity I formed in you through all those long nights and hard lessons. Then move, my child. Move with humility. Move with prayer. Move with reverence. But move. Because what I confirmed was not meant to become another place where you camp in hesitation. It was meant to become the road you walk with me. My child, I have told you to stop asking for more signs when I have already confirmed my word, and this moment is one of those confirmations. You do not need another signal to act. The stirring in your spirit is already my voice. When you give, you align yourself with what I have already spoken, becoming a vessel through which my word flows like living water. Did I not say, those who sow generously will also reap generously? I am calling you out of hesitation and into movement. Do not let fear disguise itself as delay while destiny waits on your obedience. This is not about obligation, it is about alignment with heaven's purpose. I will cover what concerns you, increase what you release, and establish peace in your path. So move now with faith. Give through super thanks, step into membership, or use the PayPal link in the description. My child, I have told you to stop asking for signs about what I have already confirmed. I need to widen your understanding one more time, because if you think this breakthrough is only about your relief, your comfort, your answered prayer, your restored peace, or your personal victory, you will still be seeing only part of the picture. What I have done in you and for you was never just for you. Yes, I love you personally. Yes, I saw your pain individually. Yes, I answered the cries you whispered in private. Yes, I held you through the nights when no one knew how close you were to giving up. Yes, I walked with you through every delay, every disappointment, every hidden battle, every internal war, every door that would not open, every room where you felt unseen, every season where you wondered if I had forgotten you. I did all of that with intimate love because you are my child. Never doubt that. I did not carry you as a project. I carried you as my own. But my child, what I have done in your life carries ripple effects beyond your own healing. This breakthrough is not just a personal rescue. It is also a testimony, a witness, a doorway, a light, a seed, a source of hope, a future shelter for someone else who will one day need what I built in you. The comfort I gave you will become language for someone else's The wisdom I taught you in the dark will become guidance for someone else's confusion. The boundaries I trained you to hold will become protection not only for you, but for the people I entrust to your care. The peace I am teaching you to carry will change the atmosphere of rooms you enter. The healing I am doing in your inner world will alter the way you love, the way you respond, the way you lead, the way you speak, the way you raise, the way you encourage, the way you discern, the way you remain steady when others are spiraling. That matters more than you realize. You have been thinking in terms of, I finally got through, and that is true. But there is another truth beside it. I am now becoming someone through whom others can breathe easier too. I want you to sit with that. Let it settle. This is not about performance. This is not about pressure. This is not about becoming some polished example who has to get everything right. No. It is about understanding that healed people change atmospheres. Free people create space for others to stop pretending. Steady people become shelter in storms. People who have walked with me through fire and come out softer, wiser, humbler, and more discerning carry a different weight in the world. They speak differently. They listen differently. They love differently. They do not just survive. They become safe places. And I am forming that in you. That is one reason the process was so deep. If this were only about giving you an outcome, the process could have been shallower. But because I was building a life that would overflow into others, I had to go deeper. I had to deal with the hidden things. I had to confront the old patterns. I had to heal the inner fractures. I had to strengthen your discernment. I had to teach you how to carry peace without sabotaging it. I had to teach you how to stay humble while being lifted. I had to teach you how to receive without grasping, how to rest without guilt, how to say no without collapsing, how to wait without making delay your identity. All of that is part of what makes your breakthrough more than private relief. It is part of what makes it useful in my hands. And I want you to stop reducing usefulness to public platforms or dramatic influence. Some of the most powerful overflow of your breakthrough will happen in ordinary places. In how you answer someone. In how you remain calm when others are frantic. In how you do not pass your old wounds into someone else. In how you create peace in your home. In how you stop cycles instead of repeating them. In how you become harder to manipulate because truth now lives deeper in you. In how you listen with compassion because you remember what hidden pain feels like. In how you do not shame someone for moving slowly because you remember your own process. That is ministry too. That is impact too. That is kingdom too. So do not think small. This breakthrough was never just for you. And now, my child, let me take you deeper, because if this breakthrough is meant to overflow, then you must learn how to carry it in a way that remains clean, humble, and available to me. This is not about turning your life into a performance of victory. It is not about forcing yourself to inspire people. It is not about talking loudly about what I did while neglecting the intimacy that made it possible. No. If this is going to bless others, it must stay rooted in me. That is why I am giving you this command with tenderness. Stay close, stay clean, stay humble, and stay available. Stay close, because if you drift from me after the breakthrough, the overflow will become imitation instead of life. Stay clean, because what blesses others must first remain healthy within you. Stay humble, because the moment you start using your testimony to build yourself instead of glorify me, the sweetness changes. Stay available, because some of the people I want to touch through you will not come in the way you expect. Some will come through interruptions. Some will come through conversations you did not plan for. Some will come through moments where your presence matters more than your words. Some will come through your restraint, your patience, your listening, your refusal to panic, your willingness to pray quietly, your ability to stay grounded when the room gets heavy. That is why I need you to stop thinking impact only happens through big moments. Often the deepest impact happens through overflow. It happens because what I built in you is real enough that others can feel the difference. So let it be real. Do not perform it. Live it. And I want you to invite me into this part of the season intentionally. Ask me, Father, who will be blessed because I stayed. Ask me who will breathe easier because I let you heal me. Ask me what cycles stop with me. Ask me what peace can now flow through me into my family, my relationships, my work, my home, my future decisions. Those are holy questions. Those are enlarging questions. Those are the kinds of questions that turn personal testimony into surrendered stewardship. And let me be clear about something. This does not mean you carry everyone. You already know I have been delivering you from that. This is not about becoming over-responsible again. This is not about rescuing everyone. This is not about losing your boundaries in the name of being helpful. No. The same discernment that protects your peace is also what will make your overflow clean. You do not help people by abandoning yourself. You do not bless others by re-entering chaos. You do not serve my purpose by returning to old Berto. Real overflow comes from abiding, not striving. It comes from being rooted, not overextended. It comes from remaining in me so steadily that what flows out of you is life, not depletion. Keep that distinction close. It will save you. And here is the contrast I want you to carry because it will help you steward this beautifully. Striving tries to impress, but overflow quietly nourishes. Performance demands attention, but true healing changes atmospheres without forcing the room to notice. Self-focus asks, how do I protect what I gain? But mature stewardship asks, how do I protect it so it can remain pure enough to bless others? Hold that. Live by it. Let it reshape how you see this whole season. Because, my child, what I brought you through was not merely to make your story easier. It was to make your life truer. And a truer life naturally blesses others. A healed heart changes generations. A peaceful spirit shifts homes. A wiser voice redirects futures. A person who has learned how to stay with me through darkness becomes a lamp in places they never planned to influence. That is what I am doing. That is why this matters. That is why the journey was so deep. That is why I keep asking you to stay close and protect what I built. Because what I have done in you is not meant to stop at you. It is meant to pass through you in clean, holy, life-giving ways. So receive this with reverence now. Thank me for the personal rescue, yes. But also lift your eyes and say, Father, use this well. Say, Father, let what you healed in me become shelter for others. Say, Father, let the peace you gave me change the rooms I enter. Say, Father, let the breakthrough stay humble, stay rooted, and stay useful in your hands. That is a beautiful prayer. That is a mature prayer. And if you carry this season that way, you will discover that the thing you once thought was only about your survival was also the beginning of someone else's hope. My beloved child, this is not the moment for hesitation, and it is not the moment for half-hearted agreement. This is the moment where everything I have been saying to you must finally settle into decision. You have heard my voice through the waiting. You have felt my hand through the breaking. You have seen my faithfulness through the long nights, the delayed answers, the hidden tears, the inner battles, the doors that would not open, the places where you thought your strength had run out, and the quiet mornings where you somehow kept moving even when you did not know how. You know now that none of it was wasted. You know now that what looked like silence was often protection, what looked like delay was preparation, what looked like the end was a turning point, what looked like your weakness was actually the place where my strength held you together. You know this now, not as a theory, but as a lived truth. And because you know it, I am speaking to you now with more directness than before. Step fully into this new season, and do not look back. Do not stand at the doorway of what I have brought you into while emotionally reaching behind you for old fear, old habits, old identities, old patterns, old permissions, or old pain to make the transition feel familiar. Do not do that, my child. Do not touch the old chains just because your hands remember them. Do not return to old rooms because they once felt predictable. Do not call old chaos home simply because you survived there. That chapter is over. Hear me clearly. The chapter is over. I did not bring you this far so you could stand in the middle of a new season and keep negotiating with an old one. I did not heal what I healed so you could reopen it out of habit. I did not deliver you from what drained you so you could slowly rebuild it because freedom still feels unfamiliar. This is the moment where your spirit must come into full agreement. Not partial agreement. Not emotional maybe. Not curious curiosity. Full agreement. You must decide that what I have done is real. You must decide that what I have built in you is worth protecting. You must decide that the old version of you no longer gets to lead. You must decide that the new peace is not temporary. The new clarity is not accidental. The new boundaries are not selfish. The new discernment is not overreaction. And the new season is not something you need to apologize for. Come here and let me say this deeply into your heart. You are allowed to walk forward without dragging your old suffering behind you like proof of humility. You are allowed to receive what I have given you without shrinking it to make other people comfortable. You are allowed to breathe in this new season. You are allowed to stand upright in it. You are allowed to let joy touch places that have been braced for years. You are allowed to stop expecting disaster every time peace arrives. And yes, you are allowed to thank me openly for what I have done without acting like gratitude is dangerous. That matters. Some of you still think that if you fully celebrate, you will somehow lose it. Some of you still think that if you fully trust it, you will somehow invite pain back in. But that is not wisdom. That is old fear trying to sit in the seat I told it to leave. So listen carefully and receive this as command and invitation together. Release the old story. Release the old script. Release the old agreement that says life must always be heavy for it to be holy. Release the old reflex that says peace is suspicious. Release the old identity that formed in survival but cannot lead in this season. Let it go. Open your hands. Open your chest. Open your spirit. Stand with me here. Look at what has changed. Feel what has shifted. Acknowledge what I have done. This is not fantasy. This is not hype. This is not denial. This is the real fruit of a real process. And I want you to step into it with reverence, not reluctance. Step into it with humility, not fear. Step into it with gratitude, not guilt. Step into it with obedience, not endless analysis. This is your moment, my child. Not because you earned it perfectly, but because I carried you faithfully. Not because you never trembled, but because you kept coming back to me. Not because you were always strong, but because I was. So come forward now. Stop hovering at the threshold. Step in. And now, my child, let me take you into the deepest part of this final word, because this is where your heart must answer me plainly. I am not only asking you to enjoy the breakthrough, I am asking you to surrender to the season that follows it. There is a difference. Many people want the answer, but fewer people are willing to fully submit to the life the answer requires. Many want the open door, but fewer want the maturity needed to walk through it well. Many want relief, but fewer want the responsibility of protecting the peace that relief made possible. I am asking you for more than celebration. I am asking you for consecration. I am asking you to hand me the whole of this next chapter before you try to shape it with old instincts. Give me your plans. Give me your timeline. Give me your reactions. Give me your pace. Give me your desires. Give me your relationships. Give me your opportunities. Give me your conversations. Give me your future before fear, pride, insecurity, haste, with the opinions of others try to claim it. Place it in my hands now. Tell me, Father, I do not just want the blessing. I want the life you intended around it. Tell me, Father, I do not just want the door. I want your presence inside the room. Tell me, Father, I do not just want relief. I want right alignment. Those are the prayers that keep a breakthrough clean. Those are the prayers that keep a season from being hijacked by old reflexes. And I need you to hear this with urgency and comfort at the same time. This next season will respond to the posture you carry into it. If you enter it suspicious, guarded, self-protective, and half-available, you will struggle to inhabit what I meant to be live in. If you enter it proud, careless, impulsive, or independent, you will make what should have been peaceful more complicated than it needed to be. But if you enter it surrendered, attentive, grateful, discerning, and close to me, it will deepen in ways that will surprise you. That is why I am asking you now. No, I am inviting you now, and I am also commanding you now. Kneel in your heart before me. Do it. Not as performance, not as ritual, as reality. Both the inner life, both the stubborn places, both the places still trying to control outcomes, both the places still trying to keep emergency exits open, both the places still whispering, maybe I should wait a little longer before I trust this. Bring them all to me. Lay them down. This is not loss. This is alignment. This is not weakness. This is wisdom. This is not you becoming passive. This is you becoming properly positioned. And I want to say something that your soul needs to hear before we close. You do not need to be afraid of the fullness of what I am doing. You do not need to dilute it to survive it. You do not need to make it smaller to feel safer. You do not need to keep one foot in the old season just in case. Let both feet come forward. Let the whole heart come forward. Let the whole yes come forward. Because I did not bring you here to tease your spirit with almost. I brought you here to begin something. I brought you here because the old season had already taught what it needed to teach, and now the new one is ready to be inhabited. So inhabit it. Live in it. Breathe in it. Pray in it. Build in it. Love in it. Rest in it. Protect it. Grow in it. Let me lead you through it one step at a time. And now, my child, let me speak over you with the weight of finality and the warmth of a father who has walked every inch of this road beside you. I am proud of you, not with the shallow pride of the world, but with the holy delight of a father who has watched his child keep moving through storms that could have swallowed them. I saw you when you almost quit. I saw you when you cried where no one could hear you. I saw you when you smiled in front of people and then collapsed into silence later. I saw you when you carried burdens that were too heavy for one heart. I saw you when you doubted yourself. I saw you when you doubted me. I saw you when you prayed with faith. I saw you when you prayed with frustration. I saw you when you had no words left and only tears remained. I saw it all. I did not waste any of it. I did not lose any of it. I did not forget any of it. Every hidden act of endurance, every quiet surrender, every whispered prayer, every time you chose not to quit when quitting would have made sense. I saw it. I held it. I used it. And now here you are. You really did make it through. This is not the finish line of your story. This is the threshold of a truer chapter. This is not merely the end of pain. This is the beginning of a different way of living. This is not just about what you escaped. This is about who you have become in my hands. So receive this final instruction with your whole spirit. Bless this season with your obedience. Bless it with your gratitude. Bless it with your trust. Bless it with your humility. Bless it with your slower yes, your clearer no, your deeper prayer, your softer heart, your stronger boundaries, your cleaner language, your steadier steps. Do not sabotage what I have sanctified. Do not rush what I am rooting. Do not question what I have confirmed. Do not reopen what I have closed. Do not revive what I have buried. And do not apologize for what I have healed. Lift your head now. Breathe deeply. Put your hand over your heart if you need to and feel that you are still here. Feel that you are still breathing. Feel that you are still standing. Feel that something in you is no longer where it used to be. Then answer me. Answer me from the center of your spirit. Say, Father, I receive the season. Say, Father, I release the old. Say, Father, I trust what you have done. Say, Father, lead me and I will follow. That is enough. That is the doorway. That is the surrender. And if you mean it, even through trembling, then hear me clearly as we close. The season has changed, my child. The waiting is not your identity anymore. The old fear is not your ruler anymore. The old pain is not your home anymore. The old version of you is not your leader anymore. I am. So rise now. Walk with me. Step fully into this new season and do not look back. My child, you have stepped into a new season, and now I call you to walk in it fully, even in how you give. This is not just a message you received. This is a fire you are now invited to carry into the lives of others. When you support this mission, you are sowing into a field that reaches souls across nations, lighting lamps in places you may never physically go. Have I not said, I will open the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing you cannot contain? I speak that promise over your obedience now. If your heart feels moved, that is not coincidence. It is my spirit calling you into partnership. Do not look back into hesitation when I have already brought you forward into clarity. Let your giving reflect your agreement with this new season. Act now. Give through Super Thanks. Join as a member, or use the PayPal link in the description. And once you have taken that step, let your heart settle into what has already begun. A new season is not only entered through action, it is felt as a shift within your spirit. What you have aligned with is no longer distant. It is unfolding right where you stand. This is the moment where faith turns into experience, where what you believe becomes something you can feel. So pause and breathe deeply, because what you have been waiting for is no longer ahead. It is here. My beloved child, stop what you are doing right now. Take a deep, slow breath. Let the air fill your lungs and hold it for just a second. And now exhale. Do you feel that heavy weight lifting off your chest? Do you feel the tight knot in your stomach starting to untie? That is not an accident. That is my presence, bringing you the greatest news you have heard in a very long time. Your long, painful season of waiting has officially ended. I am speaking to you directly today to tell you something you have been desperate to hear. You pulled it off at last. Look back at the road you just walked. I know exactly how hard it was. I saw the deep fear of the future that kept you awake at 2 in the morning. I watched you carry the crushing pressure at your job, smiling on the outside while your shoulders ached from the invisible heavy load. I felt the pain of those unspoken tensions in your family, the quiet arguments, the lonely tears. I stood right beside you when you felt completely overlooked, unappreciated, and forgotten by everyone around you. The world told you it was over. Your own mind told you to just give up. But you did not give up. You stayed the course when others walked away. When your friends packed up their support and left, you stood your ground. Listen to my voice right now. I am rejoicing over you with singing. Can you hear it? It is not a loud, overwhelming noise. It is like that perfect, quiet pause just before a heavy summer storm breaks. It is the steady, calming rhythm of a father holding his child after a nightmare. I am singing a psalm of pure joy over your life because you trusted me when it made absolutely no sense. You looked at a solid wall of brick and believed I would make a door. And I did. The mountain that stood in your way, the situation everyone called impossible, has finally bowed down to my word. Do not think for a second that you just got lucky. This breakthrough is not a random twist of fate. I stepped into your timeline. You know deep down that this victory was not won by your own human strength. You were exhausted. You had nothing left in the tank. You told me in the dark, I cannot take one more step. But with the exact moment my spirit took over, when your human mic ran out, my divine power rushed in. We did this together. You gave me your tiny seed of trust, and I gave you a miracle that defies all human logic. Stand tall today. Lift up your head and look at what we have accomplished. Heaven itself is stopping to acknowledge the massive magnitude of this moment. Angels are witnessing the exact second your tears of sorrow turn into tears of absolute relief. Let go of the survival mode you have been living in for months, maybe even years. You do not have to fight that old battle anymore. The war is won. Step out of the shadows and walk out into the bright, warm sunlight of your new reality. Accept this massive victory. Claim it as your own. I am so deeply proud of you, my precious one. The hard part is over, and your real life is just beginning. You know as well as I do that human logic cannot explain how you arrived here today. I want you to think about what the world told you just a short time ago. You heard the voices of the experts, the professionals, and even the well-meaning friends who told you to just settle down and accept your current reality. They looked at your age, your bank account, your past mistakes, and your current resources, and they confidently said it was simply too late for you. You read the rejection emails that felt like a punch to your stomach. You stared at spreadsheets and bills that mathematically proved there was no way out of your financial pressure. You listened to the ticking clock of societal expectations telling you that your time had passed and your chance was gone. I saw you sitting in your car, staring at the steering wheel, wondering if they were right. I felt the sinking feeling in your chest when you thought about giving up your biggest dreams just to survive another week. But I told you then, and I am telling you now, that my favor defies every single earthly statistic. I use the foolish things of this world to confound the wise, and your life is the perfect proof of that truth. Look around you right now and realize that your breakthrough is an undeniable sign and a massive wonder. You did not get here because you had the best connections, the flawless resume, or the perfect background. You got here because I decided to step into your mess and rewrite the rules. People are going to look at your life, look at where you started, and they will be forced to see my hand clearly resting upon you. You are going to watch the skeptics scratch their heads in total confusion. They will try to analyze your success, trying to find the logical formula you used, but they will fail. I want you to embrace the crazy nature of this miracle. Do not try to minimize it to make other people feel comfortable. Stand firm in the reality that I did the impossible for you. Your mind might still be trying to catch up with what has just happened. You might feel a lingering sense of shock, waiting for the other shoe to drop, or waiting for someone to tell you this is all a mistake. Stop doing that. I command you to banish that fear right now. Take full ownership of this unexpected, completely irrational blessing. I bypassed the usual systems for you. I tore up the standard timelines. I ignored the gatekeepers who thought they held the keys to your future. I hold the only keys that matter. You are stepping into a season where the extraordinary is going to become your daily normal. I want you to look back at every single closed door that broke your heart last year. You see now why I kept them locked. If those small, mediocre doors had opened, you would have missed this massive, crazy miracle I had waiting for you all along. I knew exactly what I was doing, and I used the impossible odds to show you my absolute power. Your weeping has endured for a very long, exhausting night, but I am declaring today that your night is permanently over. I want you to remember those agonizing hours at 3 in the morning when you were tossing and turning in your bed. I was right there with you when your mind was racing with worst-case scenarios about your children, your health, and your career. I saw you staring at the dark ceiling, feeling an intense, heavy pressure on your chest that made it hard to even breathe. You felt completely isolated, convinced that nobody in the world truly understood the depth of your daily struggle. You woke up tired, you went to work tired, and you came home tired. You have been carrying a heavy, invisible backpack filled with stress, anxiety, and grief, forcing a smile for your coworkers and your family while silently screaming on the inside. I know exactly how much energy it took just to get out of bed on your hardest days. I am here to tell you that you do not have to carry that heavy backpack anymore. Drop it right now. I have officially turned your deep mourning into joyful dancing. You have successfully emerged from a brutal wilderness, and you did it by leaning your heavy weight on me. Look at the morning light breaking into your life right now. The thick darkness that surrounded you for so long could not comprehend or extinguish the bright light I placed inside of you. You thought the night would literally never end. You thought you were permanently broken by the trauma and the disappointment you endured. But look at you now. You are still standing. You survived 100% of your worst days. Every single dark shadow of doubt that whispered lies into your ear is being forcefully cast out by my command today. Breathe in the fresh air of this brand new morning. Notice how different your body feels when the crushing weight of anxiety is finally lifted. I want you to literally feel the muscles in your neck and your shoulders relaxing as you hear my words. The season of constant crying, constant worrying, and constant striving is finished. I am drying your tears and replacing your exhaustion with brilliant, undeniable joy. You are going to wake up tomorrow morning and realize that the knot in your stomach is entirely gone. You will drink your morning coffee and actually taste it, instead of just swallowing it while rushing to put out another fire. I have brought you safely through the worst storm of your entire life. Do not look back at the darkness with fear. Look forward at the sunrise I have created specifically for you. Your new day has begun, and it is going to be incredibly beautiful. You held on to my promises when they felt incredibly distant, cold, and entirely unrealistic. I want to talk about your faith, because you often tell yourself that your faith was weak. You think because you cried, because you doubted, and because you got angry with me, that your faith was somehow broken. I see it completely differently. Your raw, honest, and sometimes messy trust was the most beautiful thing to me. I watched you cry in your car before wiping your face and walking into your workplace to do your job. I saw you hide in the bathroom just to get 2 minutes of silence to whisper a desperate prayer for help. You did not have a perfect, shiny, flawless faith. You had a stubborn, gritty, mustard seed kind of faith that simply refused to completely let go of my hand. and that tiny, stubborn seed is exactly what moved the massive mountain standing in your way. You spoke to the terrifying storm in your life, and even though your voice was shaking and your knees were trembling, you did not sink. Trusting me when you had zero physical evidence that things would get better was your absolute greatest weapon of war. The enemy tried to crush your mind with bitter despair. He tried to convince you that I had abandoned you, that your prayers were bouncing off the ceiling, and that you were foolish for still believing. But I watched you make a daily, exhausting choice. You chose belief over bitterness. You chose to take one more step when every bone in your body wanted to quit. You chose to forgive the people who betrayed you instead of letting their poison ruin your heart. I am deeply honored by the immense trust you placed in me during your darkest hours. This crazy miracle you are holding right now is the direct reward for your unwavering, resilient heart. I want you to stop beating yourself up for the moments you felt weak. Weakness is just the empty space where my strength gets to do its best work. You do not have to pretend to be a superhero anymore. I am the hero of this story, but you were the brave soldier who stayed on the battlefield when everyone else deserted. Acknowledge your own resilience today. Look in the mirror and respect the person looking back at you, because that person survived the fire that would have destroyed anyone else. I am blessing you today not because you were perfectly behaved, but because you fiercely held onto my coat and refused to let the storm blow you away. Your messy, beautiful, stubborn faith has made you completely whole. The heavy, rusty chains that held you back for years have been permanently shattered today. I know you have been fighting a quiet, intense battle with a spirit of delay. I watched you scroll through your phone, seeing your peers get promoted, get married, buy homes, and reach milestones while you felt completely stuck in neutral. I saw the quiet tears of frustration when you asked me, "When is it going to be my turn?" You felt like you were standing in a long line, watching everyone else get served while you were constantly pushed to the very back. You worked twice as hard just to stay in the exact same place. You felt the agonizing pain of stagnant progress, wondering if you had missed your window of opportunity entirely. I felt your silent heartbreak every single time another year ended, and your biggest prayers were still unanswered. I am stepping in right now to aggressively accelerate your progress in this specific hour. I am not just going to move you forward, I am going to launch you. The time you thought you lost is now being restored to you tenfold. I am going to compress time on your behalf. What takes other people 10 years to build, I am going to help you build in one. You are currently bypassing all the frustrating obstacles and traps the enemy carefully laid out for you. There will be no more standing still. There will be no more running on a treadmill, exhausting yourself without changing locations. The path in front of you is completely clear, swept clean by my own hand. I have removed the hidden blockages in your career, in your relationships, and in your own mindset by my direct command. Get ready to move fast. I invite you to step out of the waiting room and walk confidently onto the main stage of your life. Do not drag the heavy frustration of the past few years into this new, accelerated season. Forgive the delay. Release the resentment you hold toward the people who seemingly moved ahead of you. You are no longer behind in life. You are exactly where I need you to be, positioned perfectly for a rapid, undeniable ascent. I am giving you back the years that the locusts have eaten. You will look back at this exact moment and realize that the sudden shift in your momentum was entirely supernatural. Stop preparing for another disappointment. Start preparing for a sudden, massive influx of open doors, approved applications, and instant favor. Your season of frustrating delay is permanently closed. My child, now that I have shattered the chains of delay in your life, I am inviting you to become a catalyst for the speed of my word in the lives of others. just as I have accelerated your progress. I am calling you to fuel the chariot of my gospel so it may reach those still trapped in the agonizing silence of the waiting room. By sowing a seed through the link in the description or a super thanks, you are releasing the same oil of favor that has just broken your own heavy yoke. I declare that as you give, I will multiply your time and restore your years with a supernatural velocity that defies human logic. Your generosity is the fire that lights the path for the lost to finally find their way home to my heart. Do not hesitate in this divine appointment, for the harvest is ripe and the hour is short. Go now, click the link, and sow into this mission of total restoration. My child, do not turn away now, for your soul is finally standing at the very threshold of the breakthrough we have built together. It would deeply grieve my heart to see you walk away just as the chains are hitting the floor and the path is clearing before your eyes. I have poured my own spirit into these words to rescue you from the desert, and to stop listening now would be to leave my hand extended in the silence, reaching for a heart that chose to retreat. Stay with me, for the most vital parts of your transformation are still pulsing within my heart, waiting for you to receive them. I was never late to your rescue. I was intentionally preparing your heart for the magnitude of this blessing. I know my timing often feels incredibly cruel to your human mind. You wanted this pain to end 3 years ago. You wanted that specific door to open last month. You cried and begged me to rush the process, feeling like I was ignoring your urgent timeline. But I want to be very plain-spoken with you right now. If I had given you this massive blessing when you first asked for it, it would have crushed you. You did not have the emotional maturity, the spiritual thick skin, or the mental resilience to handle the heavy weight of what you are receiving today. You were begging for the harvest, but I was busy pulling up the hidden weeds in your character that would have eventually choked out your success. This current moment is perfectly, flawlessly aligned with my ultimate purpose for your life. You are finally ripe for the blessing I had stored up for you in the heavenly vaults. Everything has fallen into place according to my exact will, not a second too early and not a second too late. While you were pacing the floor, crying over the silence, I was actively working behind the scenes. I was moving the right people into the right cities. I was shifting the hearts of decision makers. I was altering circumstances so that when you finally arrived at this spot, the victory would be undeniable and effortless. You could not see the massive construction project I was managing on your behalf. You only saw the dust and the detours. You have officially arrived at your appointed time. I command you to let go of the what-ifs and the if-onlys. Stop looking back and wishing things had happened sooner. The painful waiting room you just graduated from was actually a divine training ground. You learned patience when you wanted to panic. You learned to find peace in the middle of total chaos. You learned how to trust my voice when everything around you was screaming failure. Because of that intense training, you will not lose this blessing. You will not self-sabotage this new level of success. You know the deep value of what you hold in your hands because you bled and sweat to finally reach it. Trust the absolute beauty of my timing. Rest in the comforting fact that the creator of time itself orchestrated your life story with perfect, unrelenting love. You remember the days when you felt you absolutely could not go on. I want you to go back to that specific moment in your memory right now. You were sitting on the edge of your bed, completely drained of all physical and emotional energy. You looked at the massive mountain of responsibilities in front of you and felt a crushing wave of defeat. You whispered to yourself that you were entirely out of options. You felt the sharp sting of burnout deep in your bones, wondering how you were going to survive another week at a job that drained your soul, or how you would handle the endless unspoken tensions in your family. I saw you running on completely empty, trying to pour from a cup that had been dry for months. I watched you force a smile for the world while your inner world was entirely collapsing. You thought you were failing because your strength was running out. You thought your exhaustion was a clear sign of your defeat. I want to tell you the absolute truth about those dark days. Your exhaustion was not a failure. Your utter weakness became the exact canvas where I chose to paint my greatest masterpiece. I stepped into your life the exact second your human abilities failed you. When you finally whispered that you could not take another step, I picked you up and carried your heavy frame. My grace was entirely sufficient for your deepest, most painful trial. You did not survive that brutal season by your own cleverness or your own willpower. You survived because I became the literal heartbeat inside your chest. I became the breath in your lungs when panic tried to suffocate you. I want you to look back at the sheer impossibilities you just walked through. You did not do this alone. I was the invisible force holding you upright when gravity and despair tried to pull you straight down to the floor. You discovered in the middle of your darkest night that I am your true, unrelenting source of life. You realized that your own resources have a strict limit. But my well of power never runs dry. Look at how my strength sustained your fragile soul when the world tried to break you. I protected your mind when anxiety tried to completely take over. I guarded your heart when betrayal tried to turn you bitter and cold. You are standing here today because I refuse to let you fall. I command you to completely let go of the shame you feel about your moments of weakness. Stop judging yourself for the times you cried, the times you doubted, and the times you wanted to quit. Your frailty is incredibly beautiful to me because it allows my immense power to flow through you without obstruction. Accept the reality that you are wonderfully human, and I am fiercely divine. Lean on my sturdy shoulder today and realize you never have to carry the heavy weight of the world by yourself ever again. I was your strength yesterday, I am your strength today, and I will be your unshakable foundation for all the days to come. You have dealt with people who constantly questioned your potential and quietly doubted your God. I saw the way they looked at you when you shared your biggest dreams. I heard the sarcastic comments, the passive-aggressive advice, and the condescending whispers behind your back. You felt the sharp sting of being constantly overlooked by people who thought they were smarter, faster, and better than you. You watched co-workers get the credit for your hard work. You sat at family gatherings and swallowed the subtle insults that made you feel incredibly small and insignificant. You wanted to scream, to defend yourself, to prove your worth to people who were determined to misunderstand you. I felt your deep frustration every single time you had to bite your tongue and walk away. But look at what is happening right now. Those very same people who questioned your path and mocked your faith are completely silent today. The undeniable reality of your breakthrough has totally removed their ability to speak against you. I have personally prepared a massive, beautiful table for you right in the very presence of your enemies. I did not remove the doubters from your life immediately because I wanted them to have a front row seat to your ultimate vindication. Your incredible success is the absolute greatest answer to their bitter scorn. You do not need to say a single word to them. You do not need to craft a clever response or try to rub this victory in their faces. I am your fierce defender, and I am your impenetrable shield. I fought the hidden battles for your reputation while you kept your head down and did the work. The crazy, unexpected outcome of your current situation has put every single skeptic to total shame. They are forced to look at your life and admit that something entirely supernatural has taken place. Walk into this new season with your head held extremely high. I invite you to enjoy the deep, satisfying peace of knowing you never had to compromise your character to get here. You did not manipulate, cheat, or tear other people down to climb this mountain. I lifted you up with my own right hand. Your life is now a glaring, undeniable testimony that will actually convert the hearts of the cynical. People will look at your journey and realize that serving me is the greatest advantage a person can have in this harsh world. Do not hold any lingering resentment toward the people who hurt you or doubted you. Forgive them quickly, because they were simply blind to the massive calling I placed on your life. They thought they were burying you with their rejections, but they did not realize they were actually planting you as a seed. You have blossomed into something spectacular, and the whole world gets to witness the brilliant glory of my favor resting completely upon you. You are no longer the person who is constantly struggling just to barely survive. I need you to hear this truth and let it sink deep into your bones. For years, you have worn the heavy, uncomfortable labels that the world placed on you. You identified yourself as the one who is always broke, the one who is always anxious, the one who always gets left behind, or the one who can never seem to catch a real break. You got so used to living in the dusty valley of disappointment that you started to build a permanent house there. You began to introduce yourself to others using your trauma, your past failures, and your deepest insecurities. I am tearing down that miserable house today. I am aggressively ripping those toxic labels off your chest and throwing them straight into the fire. The old titles of failure, victim, and forgotten have been entirely burned away by my consuming love. I have given you a brand new name of great honor and endless grace. You must start seeing yourself exactly the way I see you right now. You are not a helpless victim of your circumstances. You walk with the immense dignity and the fierce authority of a child of the King. I have washed away the dirt of your past mistakes and dressed you in a stunning garment of total victory. You carry the sweet, powerful aroma of a conqueror everywhere you go. When you walk into a room, the spiritual atmosphere shifts because you bring my heavy presence with you. I command you to stop talking down to yourself. Stop using self-deprecating humor to make other people feel more comfortable around you. Stop apologizing for taking up space in this world. I created you on purpose, for a purpose, and I demand that you step into your new identity with absolute, unapologetic confidence. Look in the mirror today and introduce yourself to the victorious person staring back at you. I invite you to completely align your vocabulary with your new reality. You must speak about yourself using words of power, potential, and deep worth. You are completely whole. You are deeply loved. You are highly favored. Do not let the familiar ghost of your old insecurities convince you that you do not belong in this new, beautiful season. You earned this space through your tears, your endurance, and your stubborn faith. You are stepping into rooms you used to be terrified of, and you belong there. I am your father, and I am telling you that you are my greatest pride and joy. Embrace the stunning, victorious reality of who you have finally become. Every single tear you shed in the dark was carefully bottled and preserved in heaven. I want to talk about the quiet, desperate prayers you prayed when you thought absolutely nobody was listening. I remember the times you sat in your parked car, gripping the steering wheel, crying so hard you could barely catch your breath. I remember the silent whispers you sent up while standing in the shower, letting the water hide your absolute heartbreak. I remember the moments you were so crushed by the heavy pressure of your life that you did not even have the words to pray. You just groaned from the deepest part of your wounded spirit. You thought those prayers were bouncing off a cold, concrete ceiling. You thought I was too busy running the massive universe to care about the specific knot of anxiety in your stomach or the terrifying fear you had about your future. You were entirely wrong. Your raw, honest cries reached the very center of my throne of grace. I heard every single broken whisper in the middle of your hardest struggle. You did not stop knocking on my door, even when your knuckles were bleeding and your hope was fading. You kept asking, you kept seeking, and you kept knocking until the heavy iron door finally swung open. Your relentless, stubborn prayer was the exact key that unlocked this massive treasure you are holding today. I watched you choose to bring your pain to me instead of taking it to the world. You did not run to temporary distractions to numb your aching mind. You ran straight into my arms and poured out your messy, uncensored complaints, fears, and hopes. I cherish that level of brutal honesty. Your vulnerability created a massive bridge between your earthly reality and my heavenly power. This crazy, beautiful result you are experiencing right now is the direct, undeniable fruit of your deep intimacy with me. I want you to recognize the immense power you hold in your mouth. Your prayers shifted the spiritual atmosphere around your family, your finances, and your career. I command you to keep praying with that exact same fiery intensity. Do not let this victory make you spiritually lazy or comfortable. Let this massive breakthrough be the ultimate proof that I actively listen to your voice and I aggressively respond to your faith. I invite you to talk to me today not out of desperate necessity, but out of overflowing gratitude. We built a profound relationship in the dark trenches of your pain. And now, we are going to enjoy the bright, beautiful sunshine of your victory together. Your voice moves my heart, and I will always answer when you call. You have seen today how your persistent cries have unlocked the heavy doors of heaven, and now I invite you to be the answer to someone else's desperate prayer. This crazy breakthrough we are celebrating is a flame that must be carried into the darkest corners of the earth, and I am asking you to provide the fuel for that fire. When you support this ministry through a PayPal donation or membership, you are not just giving money. You are participating in a miracle of multiplication. I promise that because you have honored me with your first fruits, I will cause your own cup to run over until you have no more room to receive. Your gift is the manna that will sustain a hungry soul who is currently whispering my name in the middle of their struggle. I have chosen you to be a conduit of my provision in this specific hour. Act with boldness today and strengthen this work with your sacrificial gift. I implore you, do not let your focus flicker or your ears grow heavy, for we are descending into the deepest chambers of my love for you. It would be a profound disappointment to my spirit if you abandon this conversation now, right after we have bottled your tears and unlocked the treasures of your persistence. I have so much more to reveal about the restoration of your life, and to silence my voice in this moment would be to reject the very intimacy you have been crying out for in the dark. Listen closely, for my heart yearns to finish the work I have started in you today. I am completely returning what the relentless locusts have eaten from your life. I know exactly how much the past few years have taken from you. I saw the massive toll the intense stress took on your physical body, making you feel entirely older than your actual age. I saw the painful relationships that shatter and left you feeling deeply betrayed and completely abandoned. I know about the financial setbacks that wiped out your hard-earned savings and forced you to start entirely over from the bottom. I watched the thief of depression steal months of your happiness, leaving you emotionally numb and mentally paralyzed. You look back at the calendar and grieve the time, the energy, and the pure joy that you feel was permanently wasted. I am telling you today that nothing is permanently lost when you place it securely in my hands. I am a God of radical, total restoration. I am healing the deep, invisible scars of those incredibly difficult years. Your current peace is going to be infinitely deeper and more grounded than it ever was before the severe trial began. Your capacity for genuine joy is being massively multiplied beyond earthly measure. You thought you were just surviving the fire, but I was actually using the intense heat to completely refine your character. Every single painful sacrifice you made in secret is being openly, publicly honored by me today. I'm handing you back your lost time by accelerating your current progress. I am handing you back your stolen peace by removing the chaotic people and situations from your daily environment. I am replacing the heavy spirit of heaviness with an undeniable, overflowing garment of praise. This is your official season of total and complete emotional, spiritual, and physical recovery. I command you to open your hands entirely wide and receive the massive compensation I am pouring out over your life. Do not feel guilty for suddenly having more than enough. Do not sabotage your new peace by constantly worrying that the old disaster will return. The storm is completely over, and the sky is totally clear. I invite you to breathe deeply and enjoy the profound comfort of a life that is being miraculously rebuilt by the Creator of the universe. The second half of your story is going to be breathtakingly more beautiful than the first half. I am restoring your broken dreams, renewing your tired mind, and reviving your wounded spirit. You have entered the promised land of rest, and I intend to keep you safely here. Listen to me right now, because I know exactly what your anxious mind is trying to whisper to you. You are sitting there, holding this massive breakthrough, and a familiar fear is creeping into the back of your head. You are quietly terrified that this is all a mistake. You are waiting for the other shoe to drop. You are bracing yourself for the moment when everything suddenly falls apart and you are sent right back to the painful valley you just climbed out of. Stop doing that. I command you to banish that terrifying thought immediately. I want to tell you the undeniable truth about the blessing you are standing in right now. This victory is not a fragile house of cards waiting for a light breeze to knock it over. This breakthrough is permanently built upon a solid, unshakable rock, and I am that rock. I do not give temporary gifts just to snatch them away when you make a mistake. Look back at the intense storms you just survived. The heavy winds of financial panic blew violently against your life. The pouring rain of family drama and relationship betrayal beat down upon your mind. The deep, rising floodwaters of depression and anxiety tried to completely wash you away. But your house did not fall. I want you to truly realize why you did not completely collapse under all that pressure. You kept my word as your primary, heavy anchor when the world around you was spinning out of control. When the unexpected medical bill came in the mail, you cried, but you still trusted me. When your boss threatened your job security, you panicked for a moment, but then you ran straight into my arms for comfort. You built a powerful resilience in the dark, and that resilience is exactly what is keeping you totally secure right now. Your life is a stunning testimony of spiritual stability, and the world is taking notice. I am actively securing your future for generations to come. I want you to take a deep breath and let your nervous system entirely relax. You do not have to hold on to this miracle with a tight, white-knuckled grip. You do not have to exhaust yourself trying to protect this blessing from being stolen. I am the permanent guard at the door of your life. This victory will not be temporary. It is designed by my own hand to last. I invite you to walk around in your new reality with deep, grounded confidence. Put your bare feet on the solid ground I have created for you, and feel the absolute stability of my promises. The shifting sands of human opinions and earthly economies have absolutely no power over the sturdy foundation I have laid beneath you. Rest your tired mind today. You are safe. Your blessing is secure. You are finally home. Look closely at your family tree today. I see the painful patterns that have been quietly passed down from generation to generation in your bloodline. I know about the deep, explosive anger that destroyed relationships long before you were even born. I see the toxic mindset of poverty and lack that convinced your parents and grandparents they would never have enough. I know about the heavy spirit of addiction, the sharp sting of constant divorce, and the overwhelming anxiety that seemed completely normal in your household growing up. You were born into a heavy, suffocating atmosphere of survival. But I want to tell you something incredibly profound today. You are the specific person I chose to completely change the entire narrative. This massive win you are experiencing right now has permanently shifted the trajectory of your entire family line. You have successfully broken the heavy, rusty chains of the past. I know it was incredibly lonely to be the cycle breaker. I saw the painful arguments when you refused to participate in the toxic drama your family accepted as normal. I felt your deep heartbreak when the people you loved the most misunderstood your boundaries and called you selfish. It takes an agonizing amount of strength to walk away from the familiar darkness and choose the unknown light. But because you made those incredibly hard choices, your children will never have to fight the demons you just defeated. Your children and your grandchildren will walk effortlessly through the massive doors that you pushed open with your own bruised shoulders. The heavy curse of constant failure is entirely gone from your household. Only the pure, refreshing blessing of my favor remains. I command you to release the survivor's guilt you are quietly carrying. Do not feel guilty because you are finally experiencing peace while some of your family members are still choosing the chaos. You cannot drag anyone into the promised land who is absolutely determined to stay in the wilderness. Step fully into your role as the bold pioneer of your family. This crazy, beautiful success you are holding is a massive, legacy-defining moment. You are writing a brand new history book for your descendants. Decades from now, your great-grandchildren will point back to this exact season of your life and say, "That was the moment everything changed for us." I am so incredibly proud of your fierce courage. You stood in the gap, you took the hardest hits, and you completely rewrote the future. You have spent way too many years living in pure survival mode. I know exactly what it feels like to stand in the grocery store checkout line, staring at the total on the screen, feeling a cold panic rise in your chest as you calculate if you have enough money in your bank account. I know the sheer exhaustion of living paycheck to paycheck, not just financially, but emotionally and spiritually. You have been scraping the absolute bottom of the barrel for years, desperately trying to find just a few drops of joy, a tiny bit of peace, or a single shred of hope to get you through the afternoon. You learned how to survive on the bare minimum. But I am stepping in today to tell you that the days of barely scraping by are officially over. I am currently doing exceedingly, abundantly above all you ever dared to ask or imagine. I am filling your empty cup right now, and I am not just filling it to the brim. Your cup is violently running over with my absolute goodness. I want you to mentally picture a massive, heavy waterfall pouring directly into a tiny glass. That is exactly what my favor looks like in your life today. There is more than enough for you, and there is more than enough for you to generously share with the people around you. For the first time in a very long time, you will not have to say no out of fear or lack. I am blessing you heavily so that you can become a massive blessing to many others. You are going to be the person who quietly pays for someone else's groceries. You are going to be the one who has the emotional energy to listen to a broken friend for hours without feeling entirely drained yourself. This is not just a small, temporary trickle of good luck. It is a raging, undeniable flood of divine favor. I command you to unclench your tight fists right now. Open your hands and receive the shocking abundance of my kingdom here on earth. Do not let the poverty mindset of your past convince you that you need to hoard this blessing. Do not hide your joy out of fear that it will run out. My well of provision is infinite. I invite you to freely enjoy the deep richness of this new season. Buy the nicer thing. Take the day off and actually rest. Laugh out loud until your stomach hurts. You have paid your dues in the harsh desert of lack. Welcome to the lush, beautiful garden of complete and total overflow. Think about the incredibly harsh lessons you learned this past year. You went through a brutal, painful fire that burned away everything that was fake, flimsy, and superficial in your life. I know how much it hurt when that close friend suddenly turned their back on you when you needed them the most. I know the deep sting of watching your carefully laid plans completely unravel in a matter of days. You cried out and asked me why you had to suffer so much. I will tell you why. You learned profound, life-saving things in that dark valley that you could never, ever find in a university textbook or a motivational podcast. I put you in the furnace of affliction to completely burn away your foolishness and your naivety. You were refined like pure gold in the blazing fire, and now you carry a heavy weight of glory and incredibly deep wisdom. Divine discernment is now your constant, reliable companion. You can literally walk into a room and instantly feel if the atmosphere is right or wrong. You can hear a person speak and immediately know if they are telling you the truth or trying to manipulate you. You do not easily fall for the shiny, empty promises of the world anymore because you know exactly what real substance looks like. Your entire perspective has been dramatically elevated to my own height. When petty drama breaks out at your workplace or in your extended family, you do not even flinch. You do not get dragged into the mud anymore because you are soaring high above the petty nonsense of everyday life. You completely understand the immense value of the painful process now. I command you to fiercely value the scars you earned in that fire. Do not try to hide the evidence of your struggle. Your battle scars are the absolute proof of your ultimate survival and your profound growth. I invite you to share the gritty, unvarnished wisdom you gained with the younger people around you who are currently walking through their own confusing fires. You have the exact words they desperately need to hear. The crazy part of this miracle is that if I gave you the choice today, you would not trade the pain of your past for a completely easy life, because you know the pain is what produced this beautiful, grounded wisdom inside of you. You are no longer easily shaken. You are a deep, grounded well of truth, and people will constantly seek you out for your steady, peaceful counsel. The gold I have refined within you during your trial is not meant to be hidden, but to be invested in the salvation of those currently walking through their own furnace. I have given you deep wisdom and a heavy weight of glory so that you might help me rescue the broken who feel they have no strength left to survive. By choosing to support this mission through the link below, you are planting a seed in fertile soil that will produce a harvest of peace for thousands of weary minds. I declare that as you water the dreams of others, I will cause my own refreshing rivers to flow through every dry area of your household. Your stewardship of this new season is the key that will unlock even greater levels of influence and favor in your daily life. I am watching for the heart that is ready to give as I have so freely given to you. Secure your blessing now by sowing into the spread of my eternal word. Stop and realize the weight of this moment. Do not dare to leave this sacred space while the fire is still refining your gold. It would wound my fatherly heart to see you settle for only a partial blessing when I am prepared to pour out the full inheritance of your future. You have survived the flames, but if you stop listening now, you miss the strategic blueprints I am holding for your next season. I am calling you deeper. Do not disappoint the grace that has carried you this far by turning back when the summit is finally within your reach. I know you have carried the massive weight of your world entirely on your own shoulders for a very long time. I watched you struggle alone in the dark, trying to figure out how to fix problems that were entirely too big for one person to handle. You convinced yourself that if you wanted something done right, you had to do it yourself. You built thick, high walls around your heart because you were deeply tired of being let down, betrayed, and disappointed by people who promised to help but never actually showed up. You embraced a lonely independence out of pure survival. But I am stepping into your relationships today with a massive shift. You are not meant to build this giant dream by yourself. I'm actively bringing the exact right people to you at the exact right time. Destiny helpers have been supernaturally activated for your specific cause. You did not have to manipulate, network, or desperately force these new connections. I effortlessly orchestrated them behind the scenes. I am currently surrounding you with a fierce, loyal tribe of believers who genuinely want to see you win. These are people who will not drain your energy, but will completely replenish your spirit. They will walk into your life and simply ask, "How can I help you carry this load?" I want you to notice the new mentors, the kind coworkers, and the genuine friends who are suddenly showing up in your daily path. Iron has sharply sharpened iron in this season of intense growth. We have worked together to bring this massive breakthrough to pass, and these new partnerships are the direct evidence of my love for you. I command you to slowly lower the heavy drawbridge of your heart. Stop aggressively pushing people away out of deep-seated fear. I invite you to let these new, safe people actually see you. Let them help you. When someone offers to carry a heavy box, let them carry it. When someone offers to buy you a meal, simply say thank you and receive it. Do not let your pride or your past trauma isolate you in this brand new season. You need this specific team of people to maintain the massive level of success you have just achieved. I am healing your deep trust issues by bringing you people of profound character and unshakable integrity. Lean into this beautiful new community. You are completely safe to trust again, and you will never have to walk through the heavy battles of life entirely alone ever again. I know exactly how fear used to paralyze you. I watched you lay in bed night after night, completely frozen by the terrifying what-ifs that played on an endless loop in your tired mind. What if the money totally runs out before the end of the month? What if this relationship fails just like the last one did? What if the worst-case scenario actually happens and I lose everything I have worked so hard to build? You live under a heavy, suffocating blanket of constant anxiety. Your heart would race for absolutely no reason while you were just driving to the grocery store. You woke up every single morning with a tight, painful knot in your stomach, bracing yourself for another disaster. I felt your silent panic when your phone rang, instantly assuming it was bad news. You were living as a hostage in your own mind, completely bullied by a giant of fear that told you you were never going to make it. But I am stepping into your mind today to declare that fear has absolutely no more dominion over your life. The terrifying what-ifs have been permanently silenced by my powerful I Am. I am the Lord of your past, your present, and your future, and I have already walked into your tomorrow to make it completely safe for you. I command you to take a deep, slow breath right now and aggressively exhale out all the lingering panic. You are no longer a slave to the heavy spirit of fear. I have personally given you a brand new spirit of power, of deep love, and of a completely sound, focused mind. The daily anxiety that once gripped your throat and made it hard to breathe is being entirely dissolved by the warmth of my presence. You do not have to live on high alert anymore. You do not have to constantly look over your shoulder, waiting for an enemy attack. I have completely conquered the massive giant that stood in your way, and I have cut off its head so it can never threaten you again. I invite you to step into a completely new default setting. Courage is your new normal. Boldness is your new daily routine. I want you to walk into your workplace tomorrow with your shoulders pulled back and your head held extremely high. You are bold because you know without a single doubt that I am walking right beside you. When an unexpected challenge pops up, I command you to stop defaulting to panic. Instead, look the challenge directly in the eye and remember the massive giant we just defeated together. If I brought you safely through the darkest, scariest valley of your entire life, I will certainly help you handle a simple speed bump on the road. You have learned how to fight in the dark, and now you are a fierce, seasoned warrior. Let go of the timid, terrified version of yourself. You are brave, you are fiercely protected, and you are totally free. I am handing you the keys to a completely new season, and I deeply trust you with this great manifestation of my grace. You spent years begging me for this massive breakthrough. You cried on your living room floor, asking me to just give you one real chance, one open door, one solid win. Now that you finally have exactly what you prayed for, I need you to be incredibly careful with how you handle it. This massive victory is not a toy for you to play with. It is a profound, sacred gift that requires deep maturity. I am putting you in a position of significant influence and blessing, and I need you to be a wise, faithful steward of everything I am pouring into your hands. I trust you because I watched how you handled the severe pain of the valley, but now I need to see how you handle the bright, blinding sunshine of the mountaintop. Keep your heart entirely humble in the absolute middle of all the new praise. People are going to start noticing your massive success. Your coworkers will compliment your sudden rise. Your family members will finally see your worth. But I command you to never let the applause of people go to your head. Remember exactly where you came from. Remember the dark, lonely nights when you had absolutely nothing but my gentle whisper to keep you going. Do not forget the harsh lessons of the deep valley now that you are standing on the beautiful peak. I want you to use this incredible victory to point other people straight back to me. When they ask you how you pulled this off, when they ask how you survived the impossible odds, do not give the credit to your own cleverness or your own hard work. Tell them the honest truth. Tell them that a loving God stepped into your mess and completely saved your life. I will give you the exact, clear strategy you need to maintain this massive win. Do not let the sudden influx of peace, money, or opportunity make you spiritually lazy. You cannot stop praying just because you finally got the answer you wanted. I invite you to fiercely protect your daily quiet time with me. Use your new resources to bless the people who are currently struggling right where you used to be. Pay for the single mother's groceries. Send an encouraging text message to the friend who is deeply depressed. You are a blessed, highly favored servant of the living God, and I want you to manage this miracle with extreme generosity and profound grace. The more you freely give away, the more I will continuously pour right back into your lap. Be a faithful, humble manager of this beautiful new life. You can literally feel the profound change in the air around you. Think about what the atmosphere of your life used to feel like just a few short months ago. Your own home felt like a tense, heavy war zone. You would pull into your driveway after work and just sit in your car, dreading walking through your own front door because the air inside was so thick with stress, unspoken anger, and deep anxiety. You felt like you were constantly walking on broken eggshells, terrified of saying the wrong thing and sparking another massive argument or triggering another wave of panic. The heavy environment you lived in was entirely toxic, draining the very life out of your tired bones. But I am stepping into your physical spaces today, and I am actively declaring a massive, supernatural shift in your daily atmosphere. The old, suffocating heaviness has been completely permanently lifted straight off your shoulders. You are now carrying a pure, beautiful frequency of heaven everywhere you go. The air around you has fundamentally changed to one of bright, undeniable hope. I want you to notice how differently you feel when you wake up in the morning. The dark cloud that used to hover right over your bed is entirely gone. You are finally breathing the incredibly fresh, clean air of my comforting presence. I command you to completely open the windows of your life and let this fresh breeze completely sweep through every single room of your heart. People are actually going to feel the deep, grounding peace of God when you simply walk into a room. You will notice that your coworkers calm down when you sit at the meeting table. Your angry family members will somehow speak softer when you are in the house. You have become a walking, breathing sanctuary of my divine peace. This beautiful, calm environment is absolutely necessary for your next phase of growth. A plant cannot possibly thrive if it is kept in a dark, cold, toxic closet. I had to change your atmosphere so that your roots could finally spread out and grow deep. I invite you to intentionally protect this new, peaceful space. Do not invite chaotic, toxic people back into your living room. Do not allow bitter, angry conversations to pollute the fresh air I have just given you. You have total authority over the atmosphere of your own life now. If a conversation turns dark, you have the power to change the subject or simply walk away. Enjoy the profound, beautiful quietness of your new reality. Sit on your couch with a warm cup of coffee and just listen to the complete absence of chaos. You are entirely safe, your home is completely secure, and your atmosphere is finally full of pure, brilliant light. You completely lost your voice while you were wandering in the brutal wilderness. I know exactly how it happened. You were beaten down by so many constant rejections and massive disappointments that you eventually decided it was just safer to stay totally quiet. You stopped sharing your big ideas in the office meetings because you were so deeply tired of being aggressively shot down. You stopped telling your friends about your pain because you felt like a massive burden to everyone around you. You learned how to shrink yourself down, apologize for simply taking up space, and bite your tongue until it literally bled. You swallowed your tears, you swallowed your bold opinions, and you swallowed your actual personality just to keep the peace and survive the heavy pressure. I watched you become a silent, fading shadow of the incredibly vibrant person I created you to be. But today, I am personally handing you your voice straight back. I have placed a brand new, powerful psalm of praise directly into your mouth. I command you to stop whispering. I command you to stop apologizing for your presence. You have a massive, beautiful story to tell, and the entire world desperately needs to hear it. Your raw, honest testimony is going to completely ignite the dying faith of thousands of people. I want you to speak up with the fierce, undeniable authority that I have officially granted you. When you sit across from a friend who is crying into their coffee because their life is falling apart, I want you to look them directly in the eyes and tell them what I did for you. Tell them the messy, ugly details of how bad it really got. Tell them how you wanted to quit. And then, with total confidence, tell them that I am the absolute God of the impossible. Your actual, lived experience gives your words an incredibly heavy weight that nobody can ever argue with. I invite you to start using your powerful voice to violently lift up the people who are still trapped in the dark valley. You are not a helpless victim anymore, you are a strong, fierce advocate. Speak life over your struggling children. Speak bold blessings over your stressed out spouse. Speak total victory over your own finances every single morning before you even leave your house. Your words have the actual power to create brand new realities. Do not let the enemy convince you that nobody cares what you have to say. I care. Heaven cares. And the broken people around you are starving for the exact wisdom you now carry. Open your mouth wide, take a deep breath of courage, and let the entire world hear the loud, beautiful roar of a giant killer who has finally come back to life. I have restored your voice so that you can join me in roaring against the darkness that tries to silence my children across the globe. You are no longer a victim. You are a partner in my divine plan to broadcast hope to the ends of the earth. When you click that PayPal link or become a member, you are amplifying my whisper into a thunder that shatters the strongholds of despair in the lives of the forgotten. I will remember your kindness in the day of trouble, and I will ensure that your house remains a sanctuary of absolute abundance. Your giving is a prophetic act that declares I am the God of the impossible to a world that has lost all its hope. Do not let the enemy whisper that your seed is too small, for in my hands, it becomes a mountain of provision. Take authority over your resources right now and invest in the eternal souls of my people. My beloved, the atmosphere is shifting and your voice is returning, but the journey is not yet complete. Do not abandon me in the final stretch. It would be a tragedy to my heart if you regained your song only to fall silent before hearing my final, definitive seal upon your destiny. I am the God of the finish line, and I am asking you for your undivided reverence for just a few more moments as we secure your house upon the rock. Do not let the distractions of the world pull you away from the most transformative words I have ever spoken over your life. Stay, and let my love finish what it began. You are so incredibly used to violently banging your bruised fists against locked, heavy doors. I know how deeply exhausting your past season was. You had to aggressively fight, claw, and hustle for every single tiny scrap of success you ever got. You filled out hundreds of applications. You made endless phone calls, and you practically begged people to just give you a chance, only to hear the exact same word over and over again. No. You grew totally accustomed to the massive friction of life. You started to believe that if something did not require your blood, sweat, and endless tears, it was not actually valuable. You expect everything to be a massive, exhausting uphill battle. But I am fundamentally changing the rules of your reality today. You are entering a season where completely unexpected doors are swinging wide open before you even have the chance to knock. Massive, incredible opportunities that you did not even try to seek out are currently tracking you down. I am directly opening brand new portals of high-leveled influence for your life. My absolute favor has literally gone out ahead of you with a heavy bulldozer to completely level your path. People you have never even met are mentioning your name in rooms you have only ever dreamed of entering. You are going to get sudden, shocking phone calls offering you the exact position, the exact money, or the exact relationship you thought was completely out of your league. My total sovereignty is effortlessly making a wide, smooth way right where there used to be a solid brick wall. The most crazy part of this entire miracle is not just that you won. It is how shockingly easy the winning is suddenly going to become. I command you to confidently walk straight through these open doors. Stop hesitating on the threshold. Stop frantically looking around, completely convinced that this is a hidden trap or a cruel joke. It is not a trap. It is your promised land. You do not have to forcefully push, manipulate, or desperately strive anymore. When the easy opportunity lands directly in your lap, I want you to simply smile, say thank you, and completely accept it. I am giving you a massive season of pure, unadulterated rest. You paid a heavy, brutal price in the waiting room, and now you get to fly first class. Step out of your exhausting survival mindset and step straight into the beautiful, peaceful flow of my endless provision. Let me do the heavy lifting for you. Watch in total amazement as I effortlessly align the universe to bless you far beyond your wildest dreams. You have finally realized what happens when you try to survive on shallow ground. I watched you for years trying to build your life on things that simply could not hold your heavy weight. You tried to anchor yourself to your job, but the company changed its mind. You tried to anchor your happiness to other people, but their moods shifted and they disappointed you. You tried to root your identity in your bank account, but the money fluctuated. I saw the deep panic in your eyes every single time your shallow roots were ripped up by the harsh winds of normal life. But this massive victory you just experienced has completely changed your foundation. This breakthrough has drawn you so much closer to my heart than you have ever been before. You finally recognize your total, unapologetic dependence on me. I am your true source of life, and you know it deep in your bones now. I am actively deepening your spiritual roots right now in this quiet season. I command you to let your roots grow deep down into the solid soil of my word. Do not rush this beautiful process. Take the time to sit with me in the quiet morning before the loud world wakes up and demands your attention. Your daily worship has reached a completely brand new level of raw sincerity. You are no longer just singing familiar psalms on a Sunday morning to check a religious box. You are pouring out your actual heart to me because I actually saved your life. You are securely anchored in the secret place of the Most High. I want you to feel the absolute safety of that hidden place. When the news on the television is loud and terrifying, you can retreat into that secret place with me and find total silence. You are exactly like a strong, healthy tree firmly planted right by the edge of a deep, flowing river of water. When the hot sun of summer beats down, your leaves will not wither or turn brown. When a sudden drought hits the local economy or your specific industry, you will not dry up and die. Your roots are tapping into a hidden, underground supply of my endless grace. I invite you to drink deeply from this fresh water every single day. Do not go back to drinking from the muddy, shallow puddles of the world's cheap entertainment and toxic drama. Let my deep truth completely satisfy your thirsty soul. You understand now that staying close to me is not a heavy religious chore. It is your ultimate survival strategy. Keep your roots wrapped tightly around my promises, and you will never be blown over again. I command you to embrace this new level of spiritual maturity. You are not a spiritual infant anymore, tossing and turning with every new rumor or scary headline. You have a deep, grounded gravity to your spirit now. People can clearly see that you are anchored to something much bigger than yourself. They will actually come to you and ask how you stay so calm when everything else is falling apart. You will simply point down to your deep roots and tell them about me. I am making you entirely unshakable. You survived the brutal fire, and now you are drinking from the cool, refreshing river. Let your roots dig deeper today, and watch how high I will allow your branches to grow tomorrow. Your mind is finally at complete rest regarding this massive matter. I want you to literally stop reading for a second and just feel the inside of your own head. Do you notice the profound quietness? For the past few years, your brain has felt like a loud, crowded room with 100 different radios playing completely different stations at the exact same time. You lived with a constant, buzzing noise of worry, dread, and frantic planning. You would lay your head on your pillow at night, and instead of sleeping, your mind would immediately start calculating bills, replaying old arguments, and imagining worst-case scenarios for your future. I watched you wake up at 4 a.m. with your heart pounding in your chest, completely terrified of a disaster that had not even happened yet. But I have stepped in and completely guarded your fragile heart throughout all that terrible chaos. I am giving you a peace that entirely surpasses all human understanding. This is not the fake, temporary peace that the world tries to sell you. This is not the fragile calm that only lasts until your phone rings with bad news. This is a heavy, thick, impenetrable wall of tranquility, and it is the direct reward for your stubborn trust in me. I command you to fully surrender to this massive peace today. Stop looking around corners for a brand new enemy to fight. There is absolutely no more striving required from you. You do not have to hustle, manipulate, or force your way through closed doors anymore. You can completely stop fighting the invisible ghosts of your past. The heavy war is over, and you are the clear winner. All I want you to do right now is simply abide in me. Rest your heavy shoulders against my chest and let me carry the heavy weight of tomorrow. You can finally sleep soundly tonight, knowing with absolute certainty that I am in total control of your life. I invite you to go to your bed tonight and actually enjoy the feeling of your blankets. Close your heavy eyes and command your racing thoughts to submit to my authority. When an anxious thought tries to sneak back into your mind, I want you to forcefully kick it out. Tell that fear my God has already handled this. My profound peace is the official, unbreakable seal upon this great work I have done in your life. It is the solid proof that the miracle is real and permanent. Look at how relaxed your hands are right now. You used to walk around with your fists tightly clenched, always ready to defend yourself against the next massive disappointment. Now, your hands are completely open. You are breathing deeply. You are actually smiling without forcing it. I love seeing this genuine, relaxed version of you. Protect this deep peace with everything you have. Do not let angry people, toxic environments, or negative news steal the profound rest I have so carefully wrapped around your mind. I am your safe shelter. I am your quiet harbor. You have completely survived the raging storm, and now you get to enjoy the beautiful, still water. You might honestly think that this massive victory is the ultimate finish line of your life. I know you are looking around at your new reality, feeling completely satisfied, and thinking to yourself that it cannot possibly get any better than this. I want to tell you something that is going to completely blow your mind. This is just the very beginning of what I have actually planned for you. You have simply graduated from the hard school of the valley, and now you are enrolling in the master class of the mountaintop. I have officially promoted you in the unseen spirit realm. You carry a brand new rank, a heavier authority, and a much sharper anointing than you ever had before. The demons that used to aggressively bully you now completely back away when they see you coming, because they recognize the new level of power resting heavily on your life. I have forcefully enlarged your internal capacity for much greater things. I want you to think about a small glass of water. If you try to pour a massive gallon of water into the tiny glass, it will shatter and spill everywhere. For the past few years, I have been actively stretching you. The severe pain you felt was actually the painful process of me expanding your capacity so you could hold the massive weight of this current blessing without breaking. I am currently stretching your personal vision to clearly see exactly what I see. I command you to completely drop your small, safe, mediocre goals right now. Stop asking me for barely enough to survive. I am a massive God, and I want you to start asking me for massive, impossible things. Your old ceiling has officially become your brand new floor. Get yourself entirely ready, because the crazy miracles are about to become your normal, everyday routine. I invite you to expect ridiculous, undeniable favor every single time you walk out of your front door. Do not shrink back when the next huge opportunity presents itself. When I open a massive door that seems way too big for your current resume, I command you to walk boldly through it anyway. I do not call the qualified, I personally qualify the people I call. You are entering a brand new season of higher heights and much deeper depths. You are going to write the book, start the business, heal the broken marriage, and completely change the financial legacy of your entire family. I am taking you off the bench and putting you directly into the starting lineup. The world needs the exact gifts I have placed entirely inside of you. Do not let imposter syndrome whisper cheap lies into your ear. You are not a fake, and you are not lucky. You are deeply chosen, highly trained, and perfectly equipped for the massive assignment standing right in front of you. Take a very deep breath and step onto the brand new stage I have built for you. The crowd is waiting, heaven is cheering, and I am standing right beside you. Your next level is going to be incredibly beautiful, and we are going to conquer it together. I am looking directly into your tired, beautiful eyes right now to deliver the final word on this specific matter. You have been incredibly faithful over a few, very difficult things. I saw how you handled the tiny amount of money you had when you were completely broke. I saw how you love your family even when they were acting completely unlovable. I watched you show up to a job you hated and still do your work with total integrity. You did not cheat the difficult process, and you did not quit when the night got pitch black. Because you fiercely guarded those small, hard things with absolute loyalty, I am actively making you ruler over many massive things today. I say to you right now, well done, my good and totally faithful child. You have made my heart incredibly proud. I invite you to completely enter into the intense joy of your Lord with a completely full, healed heart. Do not hold a single piece of your heart back in fear. I command you to celebrate this victory with everything you have inside of you. Laugh loudly. Cry tears of total relief. Throw your hands up in the air and violently shake off the heavy dust of your past season. This specific victory is completely secure because it is held tightly in my own powerful hand. Nobody can snatch this blessing away from you. The economy cannot destroy it. A jealous coworker cannot steal it. A toxic ex cannot ruin it. What I have personally built in your life is surrounded by a massive wall of divine fire, and you are entirely safe inside. Go forth today and confidently live as the walking, breathing miracle you truly are. When you look in the mirror tomorrow morning, I command you to stop seeing the broken, exhausted victim you used to be. Look at the strong, resilient, incredibly favored conqueror staring back at you. You are living proof that I keep my promises. You are the exact evidence the broken world needs to see that hope is still completely real. I want you to carry your story like a bright, burning torch into the darkest rooms you can find. Let your massive victory give permission to other people to start believing in their own impossible dreams again. I am giving you my ultimate promise as we close this beautiful chapter. I am with you always, even unto the very end of the age. I will never leave you abandoned by the side of the cold road. I will never drop your hand when the path gets slightly bumpy. You are my deeply beloved child, and I am your fiercely loyal father. The crazy season of waiting is entirely over. The brilliant season of your manifestation has officially begun. Step boldly forward into your bright new life. Take a deep breath right now. Feel the solid ground beneath your feet. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. Now, go live the massive, beautiful life I have completely prepared for you. You pulled it off at last, and I will love you forever. You have pulled it off at last, and as you step into this massive victory, I am inviting you to leave a legacy that will echo throughout the halls of eternity. This breakthrough is the foundation upon which we will build a bridge for others to cross over from death into my brilliant, life-giving light. By honoring this mission with a super thanks or a gift through the description link, you are sealing your own testimony with an act of profound spiritual gratitude. I release a fresh mantle of prosperity over you, promising that the windows of heaven will stay open over your head for generations to come. Your generosity today ensures that the message of my unwavering love continues to reach the ears of the broken-hearted who are desperate for a miracle. We have conquered the mountain together, and now we must call others to the peak. Complete your journey of faith today by giving generously to support my holy word. Amen.